NPC is asking what is umnqo. Umnqo is a sign, you know, uphawu. Umnqo is a sign, uphawu. It's a sign, uphawu. We also call it umnqele. That is what umnqo is. Now, umnqophiso is basically from the word ukunqopha, to vow. Ukunqopha, to promise, to vow, yabo. So umnqophiso is a vow, a promise. Umnqojana. Now we have to think about this one, because umnqojana, it must come either from two forms. Umnqoji, in which case it would be a diminutive form, or umqoji, umqoji, yabo, which would be a diminutive form, or from what we call uguqulo lwezandi. So when words change form, I'll give you an example. When words change form from an infinitive form maybe to a locative form, or when verbs change form from an infinitive form or an imperative form to a reciprocal form or a passive form, they change sound. I'll give you an example. Ukugwaba. Ukugwaba is to sing and clap hands and dance. But when we speak from a passive sense, we'll say ingoma yagwatywa. We can't say yagwaba, yagwatywa, because it's the song that is being sung. So sounds change there. So umnqoji or umnqojana would have been a diminutive of umnqoji. I know the word, I don't know what it is. I absolutely have forgotten what it is, but I know the word umnqoji. I'm trying to think what we've used it for. Usually for something that is standing alone, like a house that is standing alone on a hill, or a tree that is standing alone, that would be umnqoji or umnqo, like a sign, like a beacon. You know, it's a beacon, a landmark. I think that would be the most you know, sensible explanation. Whereas umnqophiso is a promise, an engagement, or a contract. So when you're signing a contract, utyikitya umnqophiso. That is what a contract is. Umnqophiso, including an engagement. If you're engaging someone, uyamnqophisa. Yeah, that's what umnqophiso is. My people, welcome. I don't think the network is going to be a problem now. I really don't think so. It's interesting because the network is usually never a problem, except when I do a live. I can go join someone else's live. The network will be more than perfect. So that's a very interesting thing to happen, you know. Every time I try to do a live, somehow it must end before it even begins. I don't know what that's about, but yeah. So I was trying to address something just before my network went crazy about Unongqawuse. Now there's a story that Unongqawuse was some prophet who told people to kill their cattle, and people killed their cattle, and that's how the Xhosa were defeated. The truth is that Europeans committed genocide against the Xhosa people of South Africa. They committed genocide against the Xora. They committed genocide against the Quriqikwa. They committed genocide against the Quriqikona. They committed genocide against the Qoqoqwa and the Quniqwa. They committed genocide against the Qutinikwa and against the Sonkwa and against the Inkwa Hase and against the Batlaping and against Baputi. That is the truth here. Fake stories of Unongqawuse are not going to change the fact that Europeans committed genocide in South Africa. The ANC government is complicit because the ANC government is literally working with the European genocide, committing further genocide through the erasure of black indigenous South Africans. You go to any government document, There's nothing that says native South African anymore. They've reduced the status of native people of this land into just citizens. Native populations are not citizens. They are the custodians of the lands that they are in. The racist, white supremacist apartheid government understood this one thing. They understood that natives will always be natives. Just like natives are natives in America. We were natives, yeah. But now, there's an ANC stupid government in the office. Well, it's not even the ANC anymore. It's the GNU. Or the Uber Eats government. There's nothing that says you are a native. They just call you some vague made up word, Black African. What is Black African? What is that? You go to Kenya, you don't see in their government documentation anything called Black African. You go to Zimbabwe, there's nothing called Black African in the government documentation. You go to Nigeria, there's nothing called Black African. In South Africa, the natives have been reduced to Black African. I wonder what the goal of this is. But to me, it does not seem as a coincidence. It seems like it's going perfectly with the genocide that has been committed against the natives of this land. And it's continuing to this day. So, using some dumb story of Unongqawuse to try and erase the true genocide they committed. Using some dumb story of Unongqawuse to try and erase the true genocide they committed when they were moving our people from Beaufort West, pushing them to Eastern Cape. When they were moving people from George, pushing them to Eastern Cape. When they were moving people from Gqeberha, pushing them over to the Transkei. That was a genocide. That was an erasure. When they moved people from the Table Bay, pushing them further inland, that was erasure. So nonsense that people are spewing, the bile that people are spewing about Unongqawuse is complete and utter garbage. And it is absolutely irrelevant because Europeans committed genocide against the natives. They committed genocide against the natives. No. Western Cape doesn't belong to Europeans. We've been in the Western Cape for a very long time. You know who Habana? Habana, the great-grandson of Ugwali. His kraal, ikomkhulu Habana, was in Liugamka. What they call Liugamka, which we know is Ramcha. It was there in the Western Cape. You think George, there was no Xhosa people. You think in Beaufort West, there was not, come on. We know Habana was in the Western Cape. We know Xhosa was in the Western Cape. In fact, way before 1652, we know Usweswa of the Qinikwa was actually a close ally of Uyintsati, of Amagqunukhwebe from the Eastern Cape. So the nonsense that Western Cape is this European homeland in our land must end. And so stories like Nongqawuse and Ifekane, they use them to erase their own evil which they committed against the natives of this land. Which today, when you go to any government documentation, there's nothing that references a native population. In South Africa today, there's not even a single document that refers to a native population. And I wonder why there's no native population. Because the Dutch settlers, who today call themselves Afrikaners, knew that there's a native population. The English, British settlers knew there's a native population. In fact, all the French immigrants, illegal foreigners, and even the Jewish illegal foreigners like Helen Zille and Rob Herzog, they all knew that there's a native population. What the ANC did, as they were serving their masters, they erased any documentation about any native population here. We are native South Africans, my people. Just like Native Americans are Native Americans in America. We are Native South Africans. We are not some vague group called Black African. There's no such a thing as Black African anywhere else in the continent. You go to any documentation in the Nigerian government, they don't have a group called Black African. You go to Zimbabwe, there is no group called Black African. In Zimbabwe, there's a native population. In Nigeria, there's a native population. Somehow in South Africa, oh no, it belongs to everyone who lives in it. No, it doesn't. South Africa does not belong to everyone who lives in it. In fact, there is no South Africa. This is the land of our ancestors. They came, they created some Poppy Hayes country, some Disneyland. What is this Mickey Mouse country called South Africa? It doesn't work because this is the land of our ancestors. We are the native population here. We are not some vague Black African group. So stories like Nongqawuse, Stories like Imfecane and the evil of Shaka, these things are blown out of proportion. They are absolutely blown out of proportion to try and find a way to overshadow the genocide that European illegal immigrants and invaders, those illegal immigrants as well, committed genocide against our people from the Cape to Limpopo. And that is the reality here. No Ngause is not going to change anything. Shaka is not going to change that Europeans committed genocide against the native indigenous populations of this country. Today, it's black. They don't even call black South Africans black South Africans. They call them black Africans. They've detached the indigenous people of this land from the land. It's crazy because even the indigenous people don't know. They don't even want to be indigenous anymore. They will be shouting, we are from Congo. No, guys, we are from Congo, Tina. Yeah, don't be deceived by Julius. Julius knows that he's a Lemba. He knows his ancestors came with the ships. He knows his ancestors were traders in the coast of Azania from Eritrea to Mozambique. Julius Malema knows that. He knows he's not as an indigenous South African originally. He knows. So when Julius Malema says we came from the north, he's talking about his ancestors, the Arabs, the Yemenis, the Omani merchants. He's talking about them. He tells you, Namelemba, we are Jewish. And when you're following, yes, we came from the north. No. Supambana, you didn't come from the north when you are just being raised from your own land. That's why the most prime pieces of this land is at the hands of Germans. It's at the hands of Arabs. It's at the hands of Saudis. It's at the hands of Jews. It's at the hands of Dutch. It's at the hands of Europeans. You know Basotho, they tell you we come from Tswanatsatsi. You would think Tswanatsatsi is someplace in Congo. No, Tswanatsatsi is here, Baba. Just before you get to Mpumalanga. It's here in Gauteng. That's Tswanatsatsi. But Tswana will say, we came from Matieng. We got out of the land, out of the holes in Matieng. That's where our ancestors originated. Matieng is here in the border of Botswana and South Africa. So where is the Congo in all of these oral histories? Because they're telling you, no, you guys came from the Congo. But oral history says, no, we came from the reeds. Siphuma Emhlangeni. Siphuma Embo. Mara, you see, Embo is here in the Drakensberg. Hey, Nibo. They're calling you black African in your own land. They come to your land and then they give you a name and you're wearing it proudly. Black African. We are African. Africa is us. What is Africa? Because we don't know what Africa is. What language is Africa to begin with? Tell me the language and then break it down for me. Abantu basemzini cannot come into your own house and then tell you who you are, tell you where you come from, tell you where you will stay. Because that's what these people did. They came, wiped you out from the face of the earth, pushed you into little reserves called homelands, told you where you can stay and where you can't, told you how many cows you must pay for lobola, told you how many huts you must have, and for each hut you build, you must literally pay tax. You are the indigenous people of this land. You are the natives. That's the one thing that the apartheid, white supremacist, Nazi, fascist government got right at the very least. That's the one thing. And then your weak, capitalist, weak, unstable ANC came and says, there's no native anymore. You are all Africans. And the land belongs to everyone who lives in. How can you have the same right to the land as Indians who came with Europeans? How can Indians have the same claim as you? Mara, you have been here for thousands of years. It doesn't make sense. It cannot make sense. You need to have a special status in your own country. So when you keep on regurgitating, if uzohamba udle umgabo wabelungu wokanongqawuse umgabo wabelungu kaShaka ingqondo izoba ncinci uzawunqwakuza apha enhloko because you cannot think and generate your own thoughts. Utya umgabo womlungu. Fabulous. Uzutsho kunyoko mfanami. Uzutsho kunyoko utsho kuyihlo noyihlo mkhulu futhi and all your ancestors. I'm giving it to you right now. To you, Fabulous. Tell your ancestors that, mother sucking beast. You are probably some German cave beast. I don't have time to be begging you anymore. If you're a black person and you are stupid, go away with your stupidity. I don't have time to beg you. I'm not an influencer and I'm not your content creator. I don't have time to be begging you people anymore. If you're offended, screw you, because I'm not here to beg you. I don't have time I don't tolerate stupidity anymore. You know, people see us making videos, you think I'm trying to beg. I'm not trying to beg you. I'm not. My IQ is very high. I don't need to be told by anyone. I don't need to be told anything by anyone. I can make my own thoughts. And if you want to say something, come and join the live so that I can embarrass you publicly. Come into the panel. Stop saying stupid comments. Join as a panelist. Buyazi, apparently it was the network. I had to reboot the bloody network and restart this thing. So the thing is now, there are people who are gonna maybe this bastard is a child of a politician. Maybe he's a child of Ugwede. Maybe he's a child of Ugwede. No, I've already said it. Christianity is white supremacy. White supremacy is Nazism. Nazism is fascism. What we understand as Christianity today, it's basically the very basis of capitalism. And can I tell you something? For white people, Christianity is only Christianity when it's white people who dictate it. They don't give a damn about anything that black people do. They couldn't give a damn. They couldn't be bothered. And that's the beautiful thing about Europeans. They are proud of being a racist towards black people. It's black people who are weak and always begging to be loved by whites. Why don't want to be loved by blacks? They don't care about that. You occupy a place of absolute irrelevance to them. They couldn't care about you or your thoughts or what you feel. They don't care. In fact, they want you out of this country. You're delaying their plans. They want all the ports from Port Edward to Port what. They want the ports in Durban. They want the ports in the Eastern Cape. They want the ports in Cape Town. You guys are delaying them, man, with your weakness. Bastard. Anyway, so now, guys, that story must stop being blown out of proportion. People must stop talking about all this bloody time. Did this. Which 16-year-old girl has convinced an entire nation to murder cattle when cattle is the most prized possession in that country? The story of Nongause doesn't make sense because even those men who were alive in those times, even those men who went to the house of Umhlakaza, the uncle of Nongause, they didn't even see Nongause with their eyes for the most part. She didn't talk to people directly. She was hidden in some house, and then Nongause comes and says, "Oh no, I saw an angel coming out of water." The angel, we know, it's a European who had just been transported from Australia after wiping out the indigenous population of Australia. He came here because the British are not winning fast enough. It's been 100 years and they are not winning fast enough. They are definitely wiping out the people though, because they wiped out Xhosa people from Western Cape. They wiped out Xhosa people from Nweba. They wiped out Xhosa people from Gqeberha. They wiped out Xhosa people from Albany, the province of Albany. They wiped out Xhosa people and pushed them into a little piece of land called Ciskei. They pushed them into a little piece of land called Ciskei. No. The Christianity thing, guys, we must understand that black people were forced with an iron fist to become Christians. The only way they could even have any form of job prospects in colonial South Africa, especially in British colonial South Africa, you could not work unless you are Christian. You could not get a job unless you're Christian. So the first group of Christians were amaXhosa, namamfengu. Interestingly, as they are becoming Christian, they are also drinking alcohol. Can't you see? As you are becoming a Christian on one side, on the other side, you are drinking alcohol because alcohol was a tool, literally a battle weapon. So the whole thing of Nongause is blown out of proportion. It's a lie. It doesn't make sense. Whatever, however, one of the things that happened in that period of time of Nongause, there was something called lung sickness, where cattle were dying anyway. There was something called lung sickness where cattle were dying anyway. So that one is very important to understand. Wasn't Jesus Christ born in Africa at Bethlehem? Guys, I'm not even going to entertain this thing. I'm going to block this comment. I don't want to talk about Christians or Christianity. I'm talking about my people here. So please, if you ask about anything to do with Christ now, I will block you. Or just host a live and talk about that. Here, I'm talking about how to get out of the situation we are in. We are in a deep hole because of stupid people. And stupidity should not be tolerated. It must be plucked out with its roots. And I'm not going to be nice anymore. I've way passed through that. No, now it's complete garbage. In fact, even the whole thing of Unsikana prophesying that there's a group of white people that's coming. Oh, they're going to give us the Bible and a coin. Take the Bible, but reject the coin. Do you understand how dumb that is? Read, listen. They say there's a prophecy from Unsikana. He says there's a group of people that are coming. They've got silky hair. They will be carrying a book and a coin. The book, you must take it, and the coin you must reject. However, the time Unsikana is prophesying, Europeans have been in Southern Africa for like 300 years already, since the 1400s. Delagoa is a thriving place. So why would he say there's people that are coming when they're already here? First problem. Second problem, there have been coins since the BC era. Coins have been around in the world. Currency has been around. In fact, if you read the same book called the Bible, people are offering coins there. So why would this prophecy tell people not to take the coins when coins were an international currency? It's dumb. So if anything, that is a concocted prophecy in and of itself to say, don't participate in the economy, just participate in the religion. How stupid is that? What kind of a prophecy is that? No, guys, don't take the money, just take the Bible, okay? But the Bible was printed using money. The people who are giving away the Bible are literally using money to do that. Money was there for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. It's nothing bad, money. It is literally something that has always been there. Even in the Bible, money was there. So what nonsense is this? No, the prophecy was saying we must not take the money, we must only take the Bible. No, there was no such a prophecy, actually. I'm just going to be very honest. That's a lie. That's a lie. It didn't happen. It's made up. Just like the non-house thing was made up. It's all made up, guys. What you need is to do for yourself. Stop waiting for someone to... Look, China is a very classical example. China is an absolutely classical example. Umesh 007, it didn't block a fast. You know some of the people now on TikTok. Some of the people on TikTok are not intelligent. It's the kind of people who watch videos online and masturbate all day. Now, unfortunately, there's no way to vet who joins your live or not. That's why you must not give them attention. It is not intelligent individuals. It's people with very low IQ, deformed skulls, and low IQ. They are not intelligent at all. And this is why now we are forced to be here engaging with people who got 30% in matric. I cannot tolerate it. I can't be wasting my time with people who are actually dumb. Like you were dumb in primary, you were dumb in high school, you are still dumb to this day, going around impregnating 10 different women, spreading disease, and you think you can come and debate me? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Go and watch twerking videos. This is not a platform for you. And this is the biggest mistake that people think when I post videos, I'm trying to get them to agree with me. I don't need you to agree with me. Your opinion means absolutely nothing to me. Like, genuinely, it means nothing. Go watch some dancing stuff. Go listen to Amapiano. Listen to Amapiano. Don't bother yourself. Your brain doesn't have the capacity to process this stuff. It doesn't. So why are you tormenting yourself like this, trying to listen to these things? Go watch something, masturbate somewhere. This is not the space for that. And I really mean it, guys. Don't bother yourself because you are tormenting yourself with me. And I'm like this. I will torment you because the things I'm saying are heavy for your little tiny brain that is full of... Let's hold it. It's fine. I don't want to insult people unnecessarily. Trevor Twani, I'm not trying to get people to agree with me, including you. You understand? So I'm saying just move on. Watch another live. This is not a place for you to agree or disagree. And I'm not even friends with you or these people. So I'm not offended. I'm just trying to help these people not to bother themselves. Because if you want to disagree, you think I'm trying to get you to agree. I'm not. Your agreement or disagreement means nothing to me. It really doesn't mean much, honestly. I'm not some politician who's trying to get people to agree. Go listen to Floyd or Ndlozi or someone, not me. Those ones. I don't even want to talk about Christianity because once I talk about that. But so stories like Ngause, Ushaka being evil, all these stories, man, are just used to confuse people. Because the real thing here, you must just go to the documents of the colonial government. Listen to the stuff they did. Listen to the stuff they did. You know that Graham, the one they named Grahamstown with, he committed genocide against the Makos. They committed genocide in what they call the Natal colony against Abambo, Amalala, Amazans. And that is the thing that the ANC government seemingly doesn't want to talk about. They're just telling you, oh, Africa belongs to everyone. South Africa belongs to... We don't give a damn about that nonsense. We know South Africa is ours and it doesn't belong to everyone. It belongs to me and my people. They committed genocide against, Amahlubi and all the other, Abaputi, all these many different groups. And the ANC is very complicit. It's complicit, unfortunately. And I've said it, Abantu Abansundu are so dumb, they can't even believe in themselves enough. They can't believe in themselves enough to use their own systems. When they go out campaigning, they will campaign with German or Jewish systems like Leninism and Marxism and capitalism and socialism. All those things are foreign. Why do you not understand that any system, any concept, any thought that has come outside of our society has always been for one thing and one thing only: to preserve and perpetuate the dominion of the groups that brought those systems. There's not a single system that has come to us for our own advancement. The Jewish illegal immigrant Helen Zille likes to say, no, colonialism was not all bad. There were roads that were made. There were roads that were made, but those roads were not made for the advancement of the native people of this land. Those roads were made for extraction and perpetual dominion. They were made for gigantic trucks, industrial trucks, to take the diamond, give it to the De Beers family. To take the gold, give it to the Anglo-American. To take the platinum, give it to Implats. To take the slaves, sell them to the Cape Colony and to the Portuguese, and then sell them overseas. Not a single road that was built during colonization was built for the benefit of the indigenous people. Not a single tap was made for the indigenous people. Villages, to this day, there are villages that don't have water, electricity. So all these things that were built were not built for the people of this land. So there was no actual benefit to colonization. Colonization is rape. We were raped. And many of our people are still experiencing post-trauma to the rape called colonization. You were raped mentally, you were raped spiritually, you were raped psychologically. That is why to this day you are unable to get out of that delusion, that absolutely deluded state of mind of always wanting to lick the asshole of the same people who perpetrated the rape against you. Abelungu bamdlwengulile umuntu omnyama. Abelungu bayidlwengulile ingqondo yomuntu onsundu. Udlwengulwe engqondweni, udlwengulwe emoyeni, udlwengulwa in every aspect of your life, including physically. They ravish your body, they ravish your land, they ravish your mind. You hate anything that has to do with yourself. You know, I had an interview at Stellenbosch University this past week, and as I arrive, another gentleman is finishing his shift, and he says, man, thank you, I listened to your program. You know, I don't speak any African language, so I don't know, you know, it was giving. I don't speak any African, I don't know that stuff. And at university, there's a lot of that actually. Young men at UCT relaxed their hair so that they could do this. Hey! Young men at UCT relaxed their hair so that they could do this. I know, I was there. I was a UCT student myself. And those white boys, they're sitting down, they do this. The Abansundu, they find themselves, they also want to do this, so they have to relax their hair. They look so retarded whilst doing it, putting carcinogenic substances in their heads. And bayabathanda belungu, yo, intombi zabelungu nama China, yo, my name is Lucania, but you can call me Luke. Yeah, but you can call me Luke. Huh? But that is the product of generational mental rape, generational economic rape, generational psychological rape. That is the product you get. My name is Lucania, but you can call me Luke, bro. Yay! My daughter, when you enter a space, you can't be making those people comfortable by reducing yourself. I was working in George some years ago. It's a company, Yamabulu. They speak Isibulu. But the moment I speak my native language, they turn red. They hate it. That's when I realized there's the sweet spot. There's the sweet spot. I used to speak my language. I used to find the most difficult words, the strongest click sounds. And I would used to speak in clicks just to instigate that form of discomfort, because they have this discomfort that they have at you being comfortable in your own land. They love it when you are uncomfortable because it makes them comfortable. So you think this battle is a battle that is only going to be fought in one way, just to earn income? No. It's not just a one-way battle. It's a battle that you fight holistically. You fight it economically. You fight it by acquiring land. You fight it by teaching your children their history, and they must speak their language. Abelungu abathakathi. Kibaloyi. Amagqwirha abelungu. And abelungu bathakatha where it matters. Ingqondo yomuntu onsundu. Abadlali ngayo bayithatha bayiphequle upside down, bayibhenqa bayithi. Huh? Huh? So guys, the work we are doing here is not just about changing the names of cities. It's not just about restoring. It's deeper. It's deeper, but we're not gonna stall in one area so that we can focus on another one. People will be like, oh no, you guys are focusing on changing names. No, names must be changed. I'm not gonna go to a place called George in my land. That's not George, that's Utinikwa. Why do we still have a place called Durban? Why is that Durban when Durban was literally colonizing this land and stealing resources? Why do we have Harry Smith in this country when Harry Smith was committing genocide in Eastern Cape and KZN? Usa quit. But we still have Harry Smith. Yeah? the richest city in this country, Johannesburg. Johannesburg. Nobody knows who Johannes is. The average person doesn't know. You have Port Shepstone. Why is it Port Shepstone? There was no people there before Shepstone. There were people. Just call it the way what it is. No, you must not change names. That's what Europeans say. Don't change names because you're affecting tourism. Screw tourism, and it's a lie, by the way. It's a lie. They just understand the significance of having to speak a specific language that is not theirs. That's why they want to call Gqeberha Port Elizabeth. It is not Port Elizabeth. There's nothing that Elizabeth did for this land. Elizabeth did nothing for our country except steal and steal and steal some more, committing genocide after genocide. You know the amount of murder the British committed against us? It's unparalleled. But nobody talks about it these days. I know the British, we love British culture. The posh English. The posh English, the Queen's language. They even call it to George. The language of George. Oh, George thinks you're a baboon, by the way. Oh, Elizabeth thinks you're a baboon, you're busy. No, it's the Queen's language. You invent a Queen when? Guys, musa ukuvuma ube ngumqamelo wokungqiya amabelungu. Don't be a stepping stone for these people. Don't be a stepping stone. Yeah. No, don't change names. But you changed them. You changed them. There was no Durban here. Sazithegu thina. Sazithegu. No, it's Zanin. And if they can't change the name, they change the pronunciation. You know, there's a place in Eastern Cape called Nahun. What is Nahun? It's Nahuni. There's another one called Gunubi. It's not Gunubi, it's Gunube. Then there's another one called Nanaha. It's Nanach. No. You must say it the way they say it. Your way is wrong. No, it's Kesi. Kama. No, our people are screwed. So I repeat again, those stories of Unongause and Rushaka, those are the perfect decoy stories that they use every time they want to distract you. I can say 99% of Abandabansundu don't know the gravity of what Europeans did to the people of this land. Yeah, we don't have East London. East London doesn't exist. There's no London here. Ukombo is that cove stone, the cove rock there. Kukombo, that is East London. And another name, Engokolo. You know, they also had West London, by the way. There was East London in Eastern Cape, West London in Cape Town. Today they call West London Athlone. Somerset West in Western Cape, Somerset East. But Somerset is in England. So we changed Somerset East in Eastern Cape, call it Kwano Joli. Because that mountain there is not Joli's mountain. South Africa, here's the thing. I have a long video on YouTube on this Azania thing. Azania is not South Africa. Azania is Eritrea. It's a coastal area from Eritrea to northern Mozambique. That's what Azania is. The coast, the east coast of Africa altogether is the coast of the Zanyi. Coast of the Zanyi. Hence, Alzania. The coast of it was used even before 1 AD by the Greeks in their writings. It was used by the Chinese. It was used by some of the Southeast Asian peoples. It was used by the Persians. It was used by the Arabs to refer to that coast. That coast, why? Because they were trading slaves in that coast. The slaves, aka the Zani, the Zanji. In fact, the word Zanji is still preserved in some parts of Central Africa as Senzi. Senzi, like the wildlings, the wild ones, the Senzi. There's a dog known as the Basenzi dog. Senzi, Zanji, Zani, same thing. It's got nothing to do with us. We don't have the word Azania in our language. It does not exist. You see, that's how deep we must go. We cannot use words that are meaningless. The moment you say Azania, ask yourself, what is Azania? What is it? What is Azania? It's a meaningless gibberish word in our language. I can tell you what Azania is from its proper etymological meaning. Zani, Zani or Zanji or Senzi is abasendle, the wild ones. That's it. Abasendle, bakontle, the wild ones, the ones from the wild, the wildlings, the uncivilized, the uncouth ones. South Africa, I think it's fine as Ningizimu or Mzansi. I think that is fine for now because honestly, I did say in one of my videos that Ngaremab is used in the Kwe communities. Ngaremab, Ngare. In isiXhosa, it's Ngele. So Ngaremab or Ngeleni is used. It simply means the place that has snow in the high altitudes. The snowy place or the place with cold weather. Compared to the Kalahari Desert. Compared to the Kalahari Desert in the Botswana area, the south was known as the cold place, Ngaremab, Ngeleni, because it has frost, amahamba namvula, iliqhwa. That's what it was called. But I still say Ningizimu, Mzansi, whatever, I think that's fine. Trust me. Because Ningizimu is not just location. It's also a name of the wind, the southerly wind. The southerly wind. Well, Unguni can only be a region. For example, Amaxhosa called the Eastern Cape, where Xhosa land in the Eastern Cape was called Ebunguni, where the Xhosa and the Tembu stay was called Ebunguni, but where the Amampondo stay was called Embo. I think Mzansi is fine, guys. I still repeat, trust me. Mzansi, Ningizimu, whatever makes sense in your language. But what we're not gonna have is a word that is gibberish, that doesn't mean anything. That's not gonna work. Until we get to a point of consensus to say, okay, you know what? We could call this, we could call this that. We have to agree, Tina. Now, I've already said my part. Ngaremab. But I don't expect everyone to go with that. So we could say Ningizimu, we could say Mzansi, we could say Africa Burwa, for example. Burwa is perfect. Burwa also has to do with Barwa, Batwa. I love it. I love it. But Azania is not going to happen. I don't even know why the PAC didn't just call the whole thing that they were doing Poko. Just cut this PAC thing. Just call yourself Poko. Because Poko means proper. It means independent. It means absolute independence. Poko. Uzmele Poko. Okay. Now back to what I was saying then. So we must not be distracted with stories like Unongause or the prophecy of Unsikana or Infekane. Those things, compared to what has been happening before those events and after those events, those things are actually insignificant. Insignificant. Before Shaka was born, Europeans were plundering this land. Shaka was born in the late 1700s. Europeans were plundering since the 1400s already. So why is it now Shaka's fault? Why is it not Ngause's fault? It's false. They're lying. They're just using these things as pieces in a chess game. And indeed, it works because you mentioned Shaka. Yo! People lose their minds. I hate Shaka. Yo, Shaka. Oh, Shaka. You mentioned on Ngause. Guys, come on. And then now, there's a new piece of puzzle. Mandela. I hate Mandela. Oh, my goodness. You mentioned Cecil John Rhodes. Silence. Silence. Aibo, you guys don't hate Cecil John Rhodes. No, don't worry, man. Cecil John Rhodes. Tina, we don't. Cecil John Rhodes. Guys, those who've been following, but who keeps in Makanda? But who keeps in Makanda? Hey, that one is fun. But here's the thing. In Zalaga Mandela, if they can't say who gives in Makanda, they will say the descendants are not the real ones. Like Umandla Mandela. No, he's the son of the daughter. No, Umandla is the son of Umakatu. He's literally a proper descendant. He's a real Mandela. And it's not just Mandela. You go to the other relatives, the other royals of Abatembu. They literally look the same. They have the exact same history. And if you follow the story of Mandela, he knows what's done in the mountain thoroughly. If you follow his story, he will recite certain things that happened there. Who gives him Makanda was not there when Mandela was. But anyway, someone said to me, Gibson Makanda was an alias that Mandela was using when he enters these countries underground. Some people were saying that it's actually his name as a secret agent. So he might have been an agent for the CIA. He might have been an agent for the MI5 or MI6. I don't know that. But all I'm saying is, you cannot ignore the past 600, 500, 400 years of European plundering and then take the weight of that and put it on Ushak. Take the weight of that and put it on Nongauz. Take the weight of that and put it on Mandela. You can't do that. That is utter stupidity. Europeans are the ones who started this. They are the ones who perpetuated this. You can't then now take the weight of all of these things and put it on one person or one group of people or one time period. Do you understand that 27 years in jail compares nothing to the 400 years of European plundering of this land? Yet people are more angry at Mandela than they are at Cecil John Rhodes. That's one of the dumbest nonsenses I've ever heard. It's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. People are going to be angry at Ushaka, but they're not angry at Uvervult, a Dutch illegal immigrant, a Dutch invader who comes here and perpetuates gross human crimes. Gross crimes against humanity. But no. Don't worry about Vervult. Let's hate Shaka. That's how you know, Guti. Akuphilwanga kakhle enhloko. Something is not right. No, Mandela had no chance. Just like Ramaphosa has no chance. Just like Zuma had no chance. He tried. They tried, but it didn't work. You think when Mandela was joining the struggle was like, let me go sell out now? Of course not. Of course not. Mandela didn't wake up someday. What's the best way to sell out the people? No, you get there, you realize, I can't fight these people in their own game. You think you're going to fight Europeans in their own game? You're fighting using, no, we are socialists. No, we are capitalists. No, we are Lexist, Leninist, Marxist. Well, cut that whole bastard nonsense system out of the way. Singabantu. That's it. There's nothing beyond that. There's nothing beyond Ubuntu Betu. Ribarwa, Singabatwa, whichever way, Ribatu. That is the essence of Ubutina. Our entire system is encapsulated in that essence. You don't need a name for the system. You don't need an ism or a schism. You don't need, capitalist or that. Those things don't work. Those things don't work. They don't work. Even these politicians right now, I don't care if it's Floyd. Who's this? I don't even know his full name anymore. But Floyd Shivambu, it's not gonna work. They know it, these guys, man. Just go to where they stay for you to see that they don't even believe this nonsense they're telling you. They don't believe they're Leninists. They don't believe they're Marxists. They don't believe they're capitalists. They're just there to plunder and steal. That's it. The key is to reference ourselves. from the beginning, reference our own economic system. You can take advantage of new technological advances and economic frameworks based on our own. That's what the Chinese did. They call it socialism with Chinese characteristics. That's what the Chinese did. They use their own Chinese thing, Chinese way of life, and then they just take advantage of international networks here and there. That's what people must do. We must use our own system and take advantage of technological advances. For example, currency. We don't have to use cows in everything, especially in international trade. You can't use cows in international trade. You can use digital things, but you use your own system as a reference. You can't use something you don't even have power to define. You have to go read in a textbook what it is. No, you must define what you are using. You must define what you are by yourself. This is why the whole thing of Bantu, not Abantu. There's a difference between Bantu and Abantu or Bantu. Now, Bantu is a European invention and is defined by them. So when you call yourself, I'm Bantu, guys, I'm Bantu, you are a slave of European intellectual or pseudo-intellectualism. You are a pure slave, nothing more. Just a slave. But when you say, I'm na ndingumtu kimutu, ni umuntu mina. Now that's you. You are taking power now. You're taking power now. And also, you can't want to be cool and be free at the same time. Most natives are stuck on the need to be cool. You want to be cool. No, guys, I need to be cool. We all must love each other. Nini no, abafuna uthando. Abafuna uthando ababantu. They want dominion. So I still say my point. There is not a single concept, not a single system, not a single belief, not a single religion that came outside of us, except those that came to dominate and perpetuate that dominance. I repeat, all systems, all concepts, all beliefs that came outside of us, they came for one thing and one thing only: dominion. Mr. Clark says Christianity was the handmaiden of Western imperialism. Islam is the handmaiden of Middle Eastern imperialism. Now there's a new imperialism that's coming on the horizon. It's going to come through debt. Because abantu abansundu are lazy. Abantu abansundu are lazy to use this. But how are we going to deal with the question of colored? Because they clearly fighting on behalf of white. It's all centers on one thing. We must reclaim ukuba ngabantu thina. You see, when you reclaim ubuzulu bakho, when you reclaim ubuntu bakho, you become ihlubi at the core. But umuntu walapha, in essence, they don't exist anymore. Ababantu ngibuza ngabo. Amalawu don't exist. That's why you must go back in time to a place where they don't exist and they occupy a space of absolute irrelevance, because abekho when we speak about the Uzuluzumane, abekho when we speak about Uhlubi, abekho when we speak about Umtalatala, abekho when we speak about Umadzikane wasemamfeneni. Abekho. You must go back in time. Your identity cannot be based on some paper that you must stick when you look for a job. No, I'm a black African. No, your identity must go beyond the very existence of South Africa in and of itself. When you go to the very core of the existence of South Africa, before South Africa exists, you get to a place where you don't have the European problem anymore, because they don't exist. And that's where I need the Bantu to be, to understand that Ubuntu Bethu negates, it nullifies the existence of anything outside of ourselves in our own ancestral land. You can't fight with something you acknowledge as being a real. It's not real, these things. It's all just tools that were used. Abelung have been using tools like buffer zones for a very long time. Between Umlungu and Umtonsundu Walapa, they always needed a buffer zone. If they could not find Ilau, they were going to put Imfengu. If they could not find Imfengu, they were going to put a Christian. If they did not find a Christian, they were going to put an Arab. If they did not find an Arab, they were going to put a Lebanese. If they not find a Lebanese, they're going to put an illegal foreigner. Anything to put in between us and them, they will do it. So, Lombuzo Wuza is in that same context. It's not new. You know, Lebanese and these other Middle Easterners were honorary whites during colonization and apartheid. They're ordinary whites. Why? Because they need this transition between white and black. You can't have full access and direct access to them. And this is exactly why you must go for them straight. They will use anything to be between Bona and Mdonsund. So, they will use anything. Yeah, like Somalia and the Eritreans. Trump is dealing with them there in Minnesota. Yeah? They will use anything. So the question of Malawi is in the same context. They are not special. They are a buffer zone. They are a buffer zone, Malawi. Same thing as illegal foreigners. Same thing as Middle Easterners. Same thing as Amandia. Same thing as China. All these people that have been allowed by Europeans. Well, Europeans control the system. We know that. Including politicians. They are a buffer zone themselves. Politicians are a buffer zone themselves. Ugwedemandashe is a buffer zone. Because they're the ones who come out and nullifies, and they nullify any anger that the people have. Umbalula was saying, oh no, if we take the land and you will see the whites are gonna run away. Umbalula bebuzwa ngubani? Bebuzwa ngubani Umbalula? Bebuzwa ngubani? Who gave him the authority to speak for the people of this land? But in South Africa, they love to worship people. They worship celebrities. They worship politicians. They worship. Ping on your face. Oh, pee some more. Pee some more on me. Oh, great politician. Pee on me, great politicians. That's South Africa for you. Oh, they love to worship people. No sense of self-love at all. Cupcake. Igamliti Cupcake. Livela Lomdu, he's busy cheating on his wife. He's calling the other woman Cupcake. Now the whole country call him Cupcake. They think it's cute. It's a cheating name that he was using when he was cheating. You think it's a cute thing? Nothing cute about Cupcake. What flavor of cupcake would it be even if he was a cupcake? It would be some coffee without sugar. Nah, not even coffee without sugar. I don't know, some ugly concoction. Cupcake. It's no cupcake. He's the Ankole. The Ankole thief. That's what he is. Ain't no bloody cupcake here. He's the Ankole thief. The buffalo. Umakale nyathi. Ukuhlabela mgama. Someone had asked me in the previous live about abantu bakwangubo onqabi. I'm not sure if that person is here, but I made a blunder. I said abantu bakwangubo. What did I say? I said ngamawushe. No, they are not amawushe. Abantu bakwangubo ngamantlangwini, ngamakhuze asentlangwini. Yes, ngamakhuze ongubo onqabi. Ngolusiba lukhulu abo, ngodlamini basemakhuzeni. Ngodlamini basemakhuzeni. And then ojali bona yes, ngamawushe. So I made that blunder. I thought I should correct it. Guys, people who are asking questions, those of you who've been following this content, you feel free to answer. Well, I'm not going to answer some of the questions. Unfortunately, I can't do that to myself. So now, amawushe, remember now, sisizwe sabenguni esiphuma kulufeni lwenja. That is as far back as they can go. Amawushe namazelemu say they come from ulufeni lwenja. For a long time, Amawusha and Amazulem say they share origin with Amazulu. They say so. It's not me. They say so. Bapuma Wolfen Luenja. They speak something like Siswat, Bategel. So they came down and settled in what is this? In the Drakensberg for some years, and then they came down to Eastern Cape. They became Amapat. But evidence shows Amazulu seems to be older than Amapat. But I'm not gonna touch on that. I think there's a question. Ojali, Bapuma Guma Kambule, who was said to have been Amawusha originally. Ojali, Bapuma Guma Kambule, who was said to have been Amawusha originally. Yabo. That is how Ojali would be Amawusha through the Kambule line. Gama Kambule bon. Amamfene, yo. I can't ndicacisa indaba amamfene. Ndingumfene nam. Amamfene ndicacisa into. Amamfene come from the Drakensberg area. And KZN in a way. And Lesotho, yabo. Akhona amamfene Lesotho. Kiba tweneng. Ba tweneng ba Khiba, ba tweneng ba Khamadi. Akhona amamfene East KZN, amamfene kwaThusi. Omlotshwa, omSuthu. Akhona amamfene akwaHlathi, oJambas, oCanzi. Then yeah, that's generally amamfene. So they are related to groups like Shezi in Eastern Cape, in KZN, Amachube, Ogwabaza, and it seems, and Ongube as well. Still looking at that. In Lesotho, they're also related to people known as Ochezi in Lesotho. Or Abanye Lesotho bazibiza Mkhabela bona. In the Northern Cape, they very close to Bakhurutse. Kibatweneng ba Bakhurutse. They are under Bakhurutse in Northern Cape, and I believe in Northwest. They've mixed heavily. Amamfene have mixed with Bakoena Bamunaheng. Amamfene have mixed with Batlaru and Batlaping. So in some areas, you'll find that Amamfene will probably call themselves Bakoena, especially in Free State and Northern Lesotho. In fact, in the royal family of Lesotho, were the descendants of Umushweshwe. Amamfene are there. Amamfene are there as councillors of the king. So Amamfene ke ngoHlathi, ngoJambase, ngoLisa, ngoCanzi, ngoSanza, ngoHla, ngoMvelo, noSidulo, ngubemhlophe. Ngomsuthu abo abantu bakaKhiba, bakaKhamadi, Khamadi ya Phofolo, muthu wa Mutshwene. Bathi ke lilimi lintsho ke ukhuma ditlhare. So the thing is now, you must go and watch that video because it's a long history of Amamfene, but I touched on it properly in the video. There's also a page known as Kevnat. He cuts my videos into smaller chunks and he posts them. Now, I don't want to deviate from what I'm talking about. I don't want to deviate. Please go and check on my YouTube. You will see. Amaqhinebe. Hey. Amaqhinebe now. You find them amongst the Mampondomise. They've been with the Mampondomise for a very long time. Oqhinebe. Omkhomazi. Omlunjwa. Odukana Mahlathi. These people, I've said it before, these are Abatwa, Bempofu, people of the Eland. Qhini is an Eland. Iqhini is an Eland. Qhinebe means umntu wempofu or usompofu. Khomazi is another name for an Eland in Kham and in Qwi. It's also a name of a river as well. I don't know if they are closer. I don't know if they are not. I just know Wuti, they've been with Amampondomise for a very long time. That is as far as I can take it. I'm now careful to put people under umbrellas and all that. Someone asking about Onozulu, Omguni, Kamashlubi yango. Amashlubi akwampafane. Ompofana. Omguni ngamashlubi. When you say no Zulu, you are saying abantu abahlala phezulu, onozulu. Amanguni, ompangazitha. Awu madoda. Injalo. Amagcina, I've spoken about them already, guys. I think it's best, guys, to just go and check my videos at this point because Amagcina, I've spoken about them maybe 5 times. I spoke about them yesterday as well, together with Amayicha and Amangabe. They are the same people. They are the same people of Bandwabo. Go to YouTube, guys. So here's the thing, guys. Now, there was a thing that people are saying about Amandebele as Zimbabwe. The name Amashlabe Zulu. I heard people saying because Bashlaba Amazulu. Hey guys, hi man, we can't be doing this to ourselves. You know, the name Amashlabe Zulu doesn't have anything to do with Amazulu per se. It's a name that is used for bulls of cows that have vertical horns. Impondo is Hlabe Phezulu. So the horns are pointing upwards. That's why they are called Amashlabe Zulu. It's cows. Now, I do have a belief that it probably was the name of a regiment. Maybe one of the regiments of Umziligas would have been Amashlabe Zulu. And therefore, the armies, the people ended up being called Amashlabe Zulu because those cows have pointy horns. And then Ulobengula. The name Ulobengula comes from Unombengula. It comes from Unombengula. It's Nombengula in Zunda. And Lobengula in Isindebele Zimbabwe. Nombengula comes from the word ukubengula. To you know, when wind, ukwenza isivunguvungu, yes. Ukwenza isivunguvungu, ukubengula oko. So Nobengula is the bringer of isivunguvungu, the one who owns isivunguvungu. But also to stab and throttle something. It's ukubengula. So Nobengula is umnini wesivunguvungu. Yabona. That's what Nobengula is. It's Nombengula ngokwesizunda. It's Lobengula ngokwesindebele. And Amashlabe Zulu have explained it. So we must stop with the myths and lies that no, Amashlabe Zulu, Ahlabu Zulu, Amhlaba. You know, guys, man. Those things, we are not children anymore. We need to think beyond. You know, you can't just say, oh, Hlabu Zulu. Yeah, that's the one. Guys. And Unodange, I don't know if you know this. Udange comes from the word Udanga, which in and of itself is from the word Ulanga, which in and of itself comes from the name for fire, like Ilangabi. So it has to do with passion and strong feelings. Unodange is someone who has control of their feelings. Someone who can hold back feelings. That person is called Unodange. There's a king, well, one of the princes is Umdange. Umdange is one of the kings, the princes of Amakos. He even had his own regiment known as Imidange. In fact, Imidange are the first people, together with some of the Gunukwa peoples, they are the first Xhosas to really engage with Europeans because Imidange and Amagwali, they were there in the Western Cape one. So they are the first to engage with Europeans in terms of battle when the Europeans were committing the genocide in South Africa for the past 500 years, which they are still continuing to commit today. An interesting question that so Unodange is someone who has full control of their feelings because Dange is basically from the word langa. Ukulangazelela. Ilanga be like hot feelings, passion. That's it. Mahaye. It's basically like ukuqamba, ukuhaya, ukuqamba, ukuthiya, to uqamba into from nothing, yabo. So mahaye ngumthiyane in a way. Kumthiyane, umuntu othiyayo, someone who's good at inventing things out of nothing. So that would be Umahaya. That's what that would be called. Perhaps someone asked about Afriforum. Kamagu Mbikwan. Not Dange Dumil. Hey, my dad. Perhaps someone asked me about Afriforum. It's true, not Dange. The theories are not good because maybe 2 years ago I heard someone say Ukabashe comes from East Africa. Yo. Yeah, no, guys. Ukabashe comes from East Africa. You know, Kabashe simply is someone who's quick to anger, someone who's very fast when doing things, someone who's short-tempered. I remember when parents, you are eating too slow. Move fast. That is Ukabash. It has nothing to do with East Africa. They don't even have cliques there except the Hadzabe people who themselves are most likely from here. And it was Umdo Wakulu who says Kabash is from East Africa. And that's when I realized, yeah, no. If even abantu bakwaXulu abazazi kwabona singobani nathina bathi ugqabha ashe you. It's not just abantu base KZN. Even in Eastern Cape it's like that. In Eastern Cape there's a name Udosini. But about no, it's the mother was saying that nam dosina, which means dizosina, I will dance dosina nam. And I'm like, if the mother was saying dosina, why is it dosini then? Because dosina is still a word. Why did we just not say dosina? No, it was a mistake. And then there's another one, another name called Uchiwo. But no, Uchiwo because Kuchiwo. No, that, yeah. No, it's not Kuchiwo, it's Chiwo. That's what the name is. You just don't know what it is. So shut the bloody up and let people who know speak. And lastly, that king called Usandile of Amakoso. For a long time, I used to think we are namesakes. Mahaya doesn't have anything to do with that. Mahaya means umdokambayo, ukuhaya. It comes from the word ukuhaya, ukamba, to invent things. If, like, for example, songs, to invent songs, yakamba, yahaya. Or even to come up with, like, puns. You know that thing of Saul Penduga, that he does to do puns. We could call that Mahaya Saul because he's good at inventing puns, coming up with puns that nobody knows. It's not Makaya. Yo, Hi, and the Vumidiala. My mother used to say, Sandile, your name is the name of a king, King Sandile or Makos. Until I realized that King Sandile himself was not Sandile. His name actually is Alexander. It is Alexander. He was named after Alexander the Great. But Amakosa could not pronounce it, but it was Sandile. Trust me, I was shocked because for a long time I thought Usandile, the king, and me have the same name. My name, Sisintu Sandile Isizwe Samamfen. His name is English, Alexander. Yes. S.E.K. Mkai, the greatest Xhosa poet, writes in the paper called in Izimvo Zabantsundu. In 1930 or something, he writes about that, you know, we've had people with European names for a long time. It was Alexander. That's why Xhosa people couldn't pronounce it and said Sandile. That's why people today who have literally the surname Sandile, it's Alexander. Remember, guys, the royal families were the first to be broken. They were broken, literally. Europeans entered their households and broke them down. They took the strong ones, took the weak ones, sent them to missionary schools, and then put them. Usandile himself had an English name. His children had English names. The princess, Emma. That's why Usandile is called So Emma, father of Emma. Emma is an English name. He had another princess called Victoria. In the 1800s, Princess Victoria. A whole royal family. All the children are full of English names. Another Xhosa prince was called Botman. Upotomane. To this day, there are Xhosa people who have the clan name Botoman in the royal family. In the royal family. Another one is Anta. Anta. Another one is Archie. Archibald. These are kings, guys. Archibald. Yo. You know how they did it? Through missionary schools. They take the royal families at a young age, send them to missionary schools. This is exactly what happened to Udalibunga, also known as Kholihlahla. But today he's Nelson. They took him to a missionary school. They did the same thing to Nomzamo Madigizela, which is Winifred. Her English name was Winifred. She's a child of a chief. She was sent to missionary school. Mandela is a child of a chief. He was sent to missionary school. Goodwill sent to... What is goodwill? You don't need goodwill. Nelson, Goodwill, Jacob, Jacob. It goes deeper than we think. Huh? I'm telling you. So, do you guys understand that what we are dealing with is a generational problem? For the fact that you are born already in a toxic mess, in a mixed concoction of toxicity. It's not your fault. You are born into it. Jay, you are already born into this mess. So we have to go back 6 generations, Tina. I don't have an English name. I don't have an English name, at least not in my ID. The English name is not there in my ID. I don't have an English name in my ID. My mother tried that colonial thing there to give me some English name. Mishak. You are Mishak. It's not there. It's not in my certificate. It's not in my ID. Why am I called Meshach? Am I Babylonian? It's a Babylonian name, was Meshach, Shadrach, Abednego. Those are Babylonian names. I've got nothing to do with Babylon. But you give me a Babylonian. I want to see a Babylonian person called Utabo. And then maybe we can talk after that. So they started with missionary schools. They take these princes at a young age. Send them to school. By the time these princes reach, adolescence, by the time they become teenagers, already they are European in mind. They are European in mind. Yabo? It's the same thing that happened in Eswatini. Same thing in KwaZulu. Same thing in KwaXhosa. Same thing in Mampondweni. People like to think Mampondo were not. No! One of the princes of Mampondo, Ustata, he was literally given a bursary by the colonial government to go and study in Lovedale. A bursary in the 1800s. Our chiefs and princes were given bursaries to study for free. Even in Scotland, they went to study. You think bursaries are new? No, the princes were the first beneficiaries of private schools, even before the Afrikaners, because the Afrikaners were these barbarian people that the British didn't like very much. They didn't like to be controlled, the Afrikaners, so they went into the dry areas. Whilst the Afrikaners are there in the dry areas, the British are dealing with the royal families. They are sending them to private schools. They are sending them to private schools. The first private schools in this country were designed literally for royal families. In fact, in Cape Town, there's a former private school called Zonneblom College. It was specifically for Xhosa royal families, that one. The princes are studying there. The fathers are rotting in Robben Island in the 1800s. Yeah, the goal was to make them soldiers of the Queen of England. To this day, you wonder when you see kings wearing the army uniform of Imperial Britain. Amago. You are shocked when you see royals and kings wearing imperial armies in your land, spitting to the memory of our forefathers, wearing imperial armies, the armies of the same people who came with fire-breathing sticks, as the ancestors described them. They were carrying sticks that breathed out fire, that released little balls that pierced the skin. But today, the very descendants of those kings who were murdered by the same people, they wear the same uniform when they want to address their nations. And you wonder why. You wonder why. Usandile is asking, since when is education a problem? This is not education, Sandile. If for the past 300 years, your people have not been able to take themselves out of the shithole that they are in, although they've been getting all this education, then you must start to think, what kind of education is this? Black people are literally shitting in grass there. They can't even help themselves. They have the lowest IQ in the world. Lowest IQ because they are undernourished, they are malnourished, they are murdering each other day in and day out. Highest occurrence of HIV and AIDS. Where is this education? What's the value of it? For the past 300 years, Abantu have been losing time in and time out, but they've been educated. What happened with the bloody education? If education cannot allow you to take yourself out of a shithole that you find yourself in because of your stupidity and naivety, then you must question that education. For the fact that there are people like you, Sandile, for example, it's testament that the education is not good enough because you can't even see what's in front of you. You can't see what's in front of you. So there's a deeper problem. The level of delusion is unparalleled. Your level of delusion is out of this world. You will need something deeper. Maybe some chemical thing to put some wire there and do some electric shock. Wake up, Sandile, wake up. Israel yahamba ulibele ukhala nge-education wena. Germans are taking up all the lands. They're taking up all the lands. Arabs are taking everything. Yo, education. Yenzani education yakho? You have ANC wena, Sandile. Une ANC wena, what ownership do you have? How much do you own of ANC? If John Langalibalele did not get education, we wouldn't have ANC. What portion of the ANC do you own? And the ANC doesn't even run the country. They literally lost the country. The country is run by the GNU. That's why you saw Limalatsi, a DA minister, is allowing Elon Musk, a white supremacist, spoiled brat, nerd, who has neurodivergence. He can't even speak publicly properly. A Nazi who did a Nazi salute not long ago. Solima Latsi in the GNU that you are so proud of, he's allowing Elon Musk to come here to get all your data and send it back to Israel. You're going to get screwed up with Israel missiles coming straight to your house. They will blow your brain into thousands of pieces. And you tell me where your bursary education is then when Israel comes into your land and takes everything. What has your ANC done? Steenhuisen is the Minister of Agriculture. When 75% of all agricultural land is still in the hands of a minority of illegal European settlers. Sandile, what has your education done, Baba? When 90% of black people own less than 5% of the wealth that is in the hands of white South Africans. When majority of people will die having never been able to afford a flight in their lifetime. Sandile, where is your education for? Pumelubala ndoda. Pumelubala. Abantu abansundu, 90% of them will never even own the wealth, even 10% of the wealth that white people have. Even 10%. 60% of all black families, if you take their income and divide it by the number of people, 60% of all those people will not have 1,800 for 30 days. 60% of all black people in South Africa don't have 1,800 rand per month. They are below the poverty line. All you have to do, take the household income, divide by the number of people. Where is your education? What progress, Sandile? Education has been in South Africa since the 1600s, since the 1700s. It's been 400 years, daughter. Where is the progress? In Switzerland, in Norway, in Singapore, for the past 40 years, there have been so much progress. Singapore, 40 years ago, was in the same level as Zambia and Malawi. Today, their economy is 200 times that of those countries. That's progress in 40 years' time. China, 20 years ago, in 20 years' time, they've uplifted 600 million people out of poverty in 20 years. Do you know what 600 million is? We are only 60 million here. Times that by 100, you get 600 million. In 20 years, China uplifted those people. Where's your progress and your education in that? Sandile, answer me. Sandile, answer. What did John Langalibalele Dube's education achieve in the past 20 years when China was uplifting 200 million people out of poverty? In the past 40 years, when Singapore multiplied their economy 200 times. Since the 1960s up to now, Norway only discovered oil then. Today, Norway is almost probably the richest country per capita in the entire world. South Africa is the most unequal. South Africa is the most unequal country with the highest number of HIV positive individuals in the world. So, before you comment next time, make sure you know what you're talking about. I've said it before, I'm not some content creator. I'm not trying to get likes. Couldn't care any less about likes. So I'm still saying, those bursaries that were given, those bursaries, Zimbabwe, what Zimbabwe? Zimbabwe is literally an empty country right now. Zimbabweans are everywhere else except Zimbabwe. You are embarrassing me, Sandile, man, because we have the same name. We have the same name. You can't do this. You can't do this, Sandile. The truth is that black people are screwed worldwide. So those bursaries that were given to the Mpondo Prince Ustata, who then married Princess Victoria of Sandile, aka Alexander. You know, Europeans were so smart, even to influence who married who in the royal families. You think it's by mistake that Zulu will marry the Swati who have a strong allegiance to the British Empire? You think it's a mistake that... You think it's a mistake? It's not a mistake. They literally control even who marries who in these royal families. This education that people are talking about, not long ago, Utalinjebo was there in Israel. And apparently some people were saying now there's an Israeli company that's already taking resources in the land of Dalinjebo. So the truth is that they're there to take resources, to extract resources most. The truth is that, guys, I Xhosa king lamb. He's the Tembu king. Look, the truth is that, guys, no matter how educated black people get, education is not the problem here. I know a guy who invented rocket fuel in his teens, late teens, early 20s. Usiyabulela Xuza. This king, it's a joke. But anyway, I know a guy, Usiyabulela Xuza, who had invented fuel oil. I remember because I was part of the young scientists at that time with ESCOM. They even named like an asteroid under him based on his name. An asteroid. Uza blah 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 with some number. Tell you what. Uziabulela Uza. Yeah, Usia Uza was mthatha. He was called in America by Obama. They plundered him. They plundered him. Harvard, MIT, they were pulling him left, right, and center. We've got people who've invented rocket fuel, but we don't even have one rocket in South Africa. So where is this progress? There's not even a single South African rocket. Huh? There's still a problem with the guy. Please call me Guy. Please call me Guy. He's not getting his money. The government is not even intervening. So it doesn't matter how educated you are as a black person. If you don't have a power of a group, if you don't have the power of a group that is behind you all the way, you are screwed. And that is the biggest problem right now. No, remember the Vodacom thing. They said they're gonna do a private settlement, and then boom, I heard they're going back to court. Going back to court. So what is needed right now is for us to decenter even the kings at this point, because they are puppets. Decenter the kings, decenter the politicians, the people themselves, with sheer will. With sheer will, the people must come together, organize, live in proximity and trade with each other, and get bloody weapons. Masumane enemy ipu izipa amadoda. Abelungu kudala beyenza bona lonto. Kudala beyenza. You go to these estates zabelungu, try and steal. Try and steal in these estates. Hey, they will show you flames zabelungu. Check them out in road rage. They are ready for war. In those road rage situations, oh shame, a little tiny South African man is pushed. I saw this other road rage where a South African man was pushed by Umlungu, who's not even looking at him. He's looking like this way. He's pushing him with one hand. Bah! One hand. Bah! Why? Because Umdonsundu is actually an individual. It's an individual. Umdonsundu is untrained. Umdonsundu has no social capital. Umdonsundu has no economic capital. Umdonsundu sisijunqu nje sizihambela sodwa. Umdonsundu. Yeah, I remember uMisuzulu esithi, don't be afraid of the new world order. Yo, guys. Yeah. Yeah, I saw a white man now pushing a South African black man with the left hand even. One push, one poof, one whiz. And then I saw another white man manhandling a Xhosa traffic officer in Greenpoint, Cape Town. And you know what? That officer could have shot that bloody person. Could have shot that pig. But because of the psychological fear of whiteness in the brain, he couldn't. So, black man, South African black man, you need to get your act together. Stop going online to people's lives and speaking stupidity. Stop going online. Stop going online and saying dumb shit on people's lives. Instead, if you feel like you have too much time on your hand, go and read a book. At least be a nerd if you're not gonna take some action. Go and train how to fight. Go and train how to handle a gun. Go and train how to handle a knife. I'm not talking about that nonsense of tsotsism. That whoosh. They're not professional. Go and train, man. Go and train, because nilapa kakulu. But when it's time for action, the country is being taken over by Somalis, Ethiopians, Bangladeshis, Pakistanis, Chinese. I'm not even going to say Europeans, because Europeans already own it. They already own it. More and more people are coming to take. Hey! sibhizi thini isakalavuma 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 iyo isakalavuka alisavuki ngoku isaka. The country is gone. Alivuki isaka. Go and learn something, man. Organize your thoughts. Organize your thoughts. Stop being stupid. You know, black people are some of the dumbest because they are good at criticizing and they are good at just creating chaos. But when it's time to actually organize and stay on course, even our women are doing better than us as men. It's the truth. Black South African women are doing better than black South African men. And I'm a black South African man myself through and through. And it's the truth. That's it. Ungangena Kanye's Indigo.
Sanbonani.
Hello.
Yes, no, I love what you're saying. I just wanted to at least be on here so that the people on my side already, hear what you're saying.
Oh, okay. Okay, no problem. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome. Hi, Tina. As I'm a daughter, Tina, we are too relaxed. We are too relaxed. You know, just go to any new development in South Africa nowadays. Any new development where properties are being sold. All the people buying up the properties are the ladies. And it's a good thing. Because if Bazos libazisa, if Bazos bandeza about us, the men, would rather play it and be teenagers who are 40 years old. But we behave like teenagers at the age of 40. I like that song. That one is good. A 40-year-old man is busy every weekend. The country is getting taken over by Pakistanis and Bangladeshis. They are in the fancier side now of South Africa. You know, they're in the fancy areas of South Africa. If you didn't know, you think they don't care about township anymore. They're going to the fancy malls now. They're kicking out shops. Guys, let me breathe. Let me breathe. These businesses of Pakistanis and Bangladeshis are now in the best and most economically active areas. But Tata Ilizwe, they're running this bloody country. You're gonna get a mayor from Pakistan. You're gonna get a mayor from Pakistan and they're gonna vote him because it makes sense for them. You're gonna get a mayor from Bangladesh. The only time was a one is a Khayelitsha. And even a Khayelitsha, where the worst part of Khayelitsha? The worst part of Khayelitsha. You know, when I was younger, all the owners of the Spaza shops, and it was not Spaza, it was proper cash stores. They were called cash stores. It was owned by black South African men. Black South African men when I was younger. And they were supporting their families and sending their children to school. They were called wholesalers as well, supermarkets. And you could not doubt the freshness of their stuff because you can see the Coca-Cola truck coming to deliver. You can see the Sasco truck coming to deliver. You could see Albany and Dunes, general traders, trading stores. You could see it. We had shoemakers, South African shoemakers. When was the last time you saw a shoemaker? I remember there were even we had what we call Abe Sutu people from Lesotho. They specialized in fruit and veg. We didn't have a problem with them because, we literally related to them. We are literally related. You understand that? We had Basutu traders who specialized in fruit and veg where I'm from. We had Rastafarians, South African Rastafarians. They specialized in peanuts, in raisins, also fruit and veg because I'm a Rasta, that industry was for them. Women ran the food stores Even the alcohol trading areas, women ran that. Today, our women, those who can, they have to fight hard and study. Those who can't have to reduce themselves to prostitution, twerking online 24/7. They have to reduce themselves to becoming slaves of criminals. And when these criminals lose their nonsense, they want to unalive them, they have to run to other countries. They have to reduce themselves nowadays, our women, to be sacrificed by Niger boys. They don't play those ones. They will sacrifice you. The Igbo. They will sacrifice you. They don't have time to be playing with you and being nice. They will sacrifice, Baba. And our women are being sacrificed left, right, and center. At church, they are offering their children. That's the status of a black South African today. A black South African woman is called an ashawo. Black South African men, it's like they don't even exist at this point. It's like you are not even a threat even to your own government. If you're a black South African man, you're not a threat to the government. They've reduced you to an almost non-existent entity. The government has reduced you, black South African men, to a non-existent entity. You don't threaten the government when a black South African man. It's even the women who are more of a threat to the government than the men. For you to organize, you need our ladies to put their lives on the line. Singamapara, guys. Singamapara, Tina. The men, Singamapara. Look at us. I mean, I'm not me directly, but generally speaking, Amatoda, Alabem Zanzingamapara. If they are not Amapara, they are the most corrupt, they are most rotten to the core, double crossing, double ups. They don't have any sense of morality. You try to work with them, they backstab you. These bastards. Nithuleleni izinto zisonakala. Nithuleleni kuyonakala madoda. So when you were asking me about AfriForum, that's where I'm coming. Guys, you think AfriForum is a new thing? You think AfriForum just started operating in 2023? It started in the 1600s. It started in the 1400s when the Portuguese were in the west coast of Africa. And Pope Nicholas V sent a message. Said, enslave them to perpetuity. Enslave all these people because they are not human. By the time the Portuguese arrived here in 1486 in the Eastern Cape, by the time they arrived, their agenda was one: to take over the land, reduce the people to subhuman. Because already they told you that you are only 60% human. And I've been saying this, in the European society, you will always be 60% human. That means you are a monkey in a way. You can fool yourself and think, oh no, I'm an educated black man. No, you're not. You're just a monkey that's been trained on how to speak. You're just a monkey that's been trained on how to dress. Nothing more in the mind of the white supremacist, which is their natural state of existence for that matter. The natural state of existence of white people who are in power is white supremacy. It's Nazism. It's apartheid. It's fascism. One and the same thing. In the mind of the white supremacist, which is any white person in power for that matter, majority of them, they love white supremacy. They don't care about any of this. You are literally subhuman. You can kumsha all you want for them. It's different when you speaking a language just for communication. When you're doing it for them to approve you, they don't give a damn. Look at what they did to Ulindwe Mazibuko, Umampele Rampel, Umusi Maiman. They've reduced them to shadows of their former selves. You understand? Look at what they did to those people. Spit on your face. Because they don't value your contribution. You are just a token to be dangled out in public. We have a black person. Natis Nai. So vote for us. And if you don't vote for them, then you must be dumb. Because the only way you can be smart is when you do what they want you to do. You've got illegal foreigners Jewish illegal foreigners, Rob Hessoff, the Russian Jew, Jewish illegal foreigner, Helen Zille, the Ashkenazi Jew from Germany. They come here and they tell you, no, colonization was good for you. We built roads. Roads that were meant to take away resources from your land, by the way, and leave you in a worse state than you were. But you must be thankful. Say thank you, master, because you built roads to take more of my resources. Rob Herzog, why are you still voting for the DNA? Why, for the ANC? You must be damned. Although they know not even like half of South Africa is voting for the ANC. The ANC is dead. It's dead. But they will use the ANC to spit on your face as the native. And they wipe you away together with the ANC, which they benefit so much from, by the way. You do know the ANC, they benefit so much from the ANC and they love the ANC. The people who run this country love the ANC. It has been good to them. It has created more white billionaires than the apartheid government could ever have. So they love the ANC. They eat from the ANC. Now they're just tired now of entertaining these garden boys. They're tired. So now they want to go full on Nazi. Full on Nazi. The ANC has done their job. They've protected them. Now they want to go full on Nazi. That's why you can see the Nazi called, who's this? Elon Musk. The illegal foreigner. Elon Musk. And he's not South African, by the way. The Musks are not South African. Even by the standard of settlers. They are not original settlers. They are Americans. They are originally Americans. Who came here? A bloody Canadian who came here. They are Germans by origin. They are Germanics. Nothing to do with South Africa. Zille, a Jew. Herzog, a Jew. Slovo, Joe Slovo, a Jew. Helen Suzman, a Jew. Your heroes. Heroes of your struggle. I don't have heroes of the struggle. I don't, because the struggle didn't benefit my people in any way. That's why I still have to speak the language of the European today. When I drive on the road of my land, I still have to read the road signs in the language of the European. When I write final exams in my land, I still have to write in the language of the European. So I'm sorry, but I'm still a colony. If it smells like a colony, it sounds like a colony, it very much is a colony. It very much is a colony. So AfriForum is only an extension. It is only an extension of the project of regaining white dominance. So what happened is, because apartheid was becoming unsustainable economically, not because black people were fighting. They didn't fight anything. Fight what? By bombing churches? No, it was just economically no longer viable anymore. There was too much corruption, because the Afrikaners are big on corruption. They steal like nobody's business. There was too much corruption, high levels of nepotism, high levels of theft, very incompetent, which still the case for the most part. Too much laziness, a lot of, they're very criminal. Very, very criminal. So it put stress on the Afrikaner economy, which was really, not working for them, because a lot of black people, a lot of indigenous native South Africans were not willing to be cheap labor. So they had to import. That's why you had Ushosholoza, Istimela, Sase Rhodesia. To create that buffer zone once again, they had to import workers from India and Sri Lanka, Indonesia, and Bangladesh. It's not new. It's been happening. You just didn't know. You had to import slaves from West Africa, many of whom are the ancestors of colors today. They intermarried with them. Some of the slaves got whited out, and a lot of the European farmers.
People about what you taught us. I still have that screenshot. They do not believe me. And I was like, I had the screenshot. So I said, go and research every single name.
Yes. I will make some videos about that actually. I'll go to those farms. I'll go to those farms and speak to the owners. Those are descendants of West Africans. So what you have now in AfriForum is the revival of when apartheid is coming to an end. Economically, they couldn't sustain this thing because there were wars, World War One, World War Two, the Great Depression. It was just too much for them. They needed to open up a bit more, right? And they like to side with the bad guys. Almost in every time, every chance they get, they will side with the bad guys. They sided with Israel for a long time. I'm sure a lot of them were Nazis for that matter, including Elon Musk's ancestors. They've been Nazis. They are Nazis, those ones. In fact, apartheid is Nazism. I've said it time and again. Apartheid is Nazism. Those are not my words. Those are not my words. Those are the words of apartheid leaders themselves. You have apartheid, Christian nationalism, Nazism, fascism, same thing. They don't care. They don't differentiate. Anything that puts white supremacy on the above everything else is Nazism. So Elon Musk themselves is a Nazi. So what happens is, as this system of Nazism is falling apart, they needed to change their identity. They needed to change their identity. Sandile, I've already spoken about Tom Mandela, not Tambo. I'm not going back to that. So what happens is they have to hand over the reins, at least the public-facing side of the reins, hand it over to a couple of black faces. But those black faces must make sure that they are trained properly. Make sure that they're gonna continue the agenda. They have certain people that have pinpointed. In fact, they chose Ramaphosa at a very young age in Soweto because his father was a policeman for the apartheid government. They chose him. By the age of 25, he was already a board member in one of the mining companies in apartheid South Africa. Now, do with that information what you want. But for me, if a 25-year-old black guy from Soweto is not even from some royal family, no, he's from Soweto, then somehow there must be a big plan for him. Anyway, what happens is you get the 1990 to 1994 transition period where the National Party starts to fragment itself into these little different groups. One of those groups is the Democratic Alliance. The Democratic Alliance is the National Party. Tony Leon, the founder of the Democratic Alliance, his father was there as well. One of the prominent people of apartheid. So the DA was, in essence, the apartheid, the guys who actually ran the country. But also a lot of the prominent leaders in the ANC themselves were operatives of the apartheid government. You just have to do a quick background check on them. Even some of the ones we love. Were operatives because they come back from exile, they're driving Mercedes-Benz. Our uncles have been fighting here. They died poor. Yeah, I did hear about Unomaziz. I did hear about that, and I heard that Ramaphosa was actually quite,
That was the first time I actually knew about him because she was my great aunt. I just knew about her, but I never saw him. I only saw him at the funeral.
And you know what I always say about Ramaphosa is, there's not many people who have the Ramaphosa last name. There are not many people who have the Ramaphosa last name. It almost feels like it's one of those, last names. Like your Malima, whom we know is actually is an Arab descendant. It's almost like, it's an agent.
Because what is Malima? What is
know
it?
that one is an Arab. He says it himself. He says it himself. So he's an Arab. He was telling Musenindlos to not criticize the Jews loosely. He must be very careful. He must say he's a Zionist because now he's also a Jew. So when you say Jews, you must say Zionist. Indeed, Malema always criticizes Zionists, which we know is a strategy of the Jews. There's the anti-Zionist Jews, and then so you can't say the Jews, you say the Zionists. So he's a Jew
Oh,
himself.
I put them all in
He's,
the same bracket. All of them.
absolutely.
Especially because I also even find out, when they did the big H there in Germany, there's proof of an entire immigration of them into South Africa before it happens,
Yes.
during it happening, and
Yes.
after it happening. Why?
Yes. Right now, let me tell you something. In the past 4 years, there's been a massive emigration of them to China. There was a massive emigration of them to China. Right now, Benjamin Netanyahu has started his campaign against China. That China is ruining the image of Israel. But they've been emigrating to China, Bona. They even they've set up organizations in China. Let me tell you something. When the Soviet Union was the superpower in the world, 85% of the government was a specific group of people. Guess which group?
Amachuta.
Exactly. Soviet Union falls, America becomes the superpower. Who's the majority of the people who are influencing the politics there?
Chuta.
America is falling, they're emigrating to China. Which is the next country that's going to be a superpower in the world right now? China.
China.
So, yeah, I'm just saying, it may be a coincidence, it may not be a coincidence, but
I
somehow,
don't think it's a coincidence. I don't think so.
somehow
They're too much
there's
everywhere.
a group that knows, exactly where to be. But in fact, if you look at the history of some of the prominent peoples, they are known as people who fund both sides. They fund both sides. They usually find one side, that the winning side and the losing side. And it usually works, it works well for them.
It's funny that you say this because I read the book Mein Kampf, and sorry, I'm not supposed to say his name, but that man basically says he was funded by Amajuta to do what he did.
He may be one of them, actually.
Yeah.
He may have been one of them, actually. But yeah, let's be careful now because we are about once they once they catch what we're saying, they knew on my side. They're coming for me. So that's the thing with AfriForum, okay, guys. You must not think of AfriForum as a standalone organization. It's a part of a collaborative process that's been happening since since when these people started coming. It's a grassroots level organization. It's the people facing organization. So they must make all the noise. But what about the ones that are not people facing? What about the ones that we're not seeing? The ones that we can't see? What about them? Yeah, bon. And that's where the problem becomes now, because you're fighting AfriForum, that you think it ends there, kind of, there's something bigger behind them. And if AfriForum continue the way they are continuing, they're actually challenging an entire state. Literally, they're challenging a country only because they know they have the backing of powerful people. They wouldn't do that if they didn't have the backing of powerful people. There are powerful people who are behind that and they know what they're doing. It's just a public game to discredit, whatever is called South Africa before the actual move. Next thing you're going to see now is some public events that don't make sense. Bombs going off, floods going off, things going crazy for the next until the image of South Africa is destroyed and it's justifiable then to go against South Africa in a more serious manner. Right now, it's a bit difficult to justify going against South Africa, but when it gets to the point where it's justifiable to go against South Africa, then you're going to see now, and I'm afraid KZN is going to be one of the victims. They're going to come for that bloody case, and there's that port there that they want. They've got the busiest port in Africa in KZN, and they're coming for it. They've got those ports in Eastern Cape, the Ngqura port, they're coming for it. They already have the port in Cape Town, in Waterfront. You see? So you need to actually watch the space in these coastal provinces. Eastern Cape, Western Cape, and KZN, I feel sorry for them. I feel sorry. I don't want to get too deep into it. But after Forum, therefore, you must look at it from a bigger scheme of things and solidarity. Solidarity as well. You must look at it from a bigger scheme of things. It's not these standalone things that are fighting people. No, it's a big process of discrediting the country altogether, laying the ground for the next attack. Yabo. So what is the best response? To be honest, in 2018, when Ramaphosa was just taking the reins, I realized then that racists have become extremely emboldened. They've become extremely emboldened. Even then, this was like 6 years ago, 7 years ago. What Ramaphosa should have done 7 years ago, when he took over the country, he should have, created a unit to deal with terrorism. Because what every forum is doing is terrorism. Solidarity, they're terrorizing the country. They've already said that racism in the form of apartheid was a crime against humanity. So what AfriForum is doing and Solidarity are doing is crime. They should have set up a unit. But the ANC are delusional. They are drunk with the wine of Babylon. I was just listening now to the Jewish man, Julius Malema. He was saying that after the meeting with Elon or with Trump, that woman, Nkumbuzo Chabeni, was busy boasting. That woman, Nkumbuzo Chabeni, was busy boasting to Julius Malema that her friend is Elon Musk. Elon Musk is her friend. What kind of stupidity is that? These ANC people are not intelligent. She was literally boasting to Julius, the Jewish man, the self-proclaimed Jewish man, and his people all together, that Elon Musk is my friend, and Trump has given us the assurance that he's going to go to the G20. Trump didn't go to no bloody G20. To no bloody G20. And that's when you realize how stupid these people who are in office are. They are so dumb. They are so stupid. They hate progress. They hate anything that has to do with growth. You go there as a young person with new ideas, they will take you out. Kanyes, talk to us.
I don't even know what to say. Because this is the things that I always talk about, but people call me crazy. They say I'm a conspiracy theorist. But it's funny how all of this literally, it ends up destroying us at the end of the day. If we're not going to listen to what people are saying, I don't care how much of a conspiracy you think it is, pick up the gems. Pick the gems up. And keep them in your pocket. Because the day it happens, you're going to come back to me and I'm going to tell you, I told you so.
Yep.
But I just wanted to share this picture when you said that about Amazulu.
Yes.
This is a picture of Mrs. Zulu with the cloth of Israel.
Yeah, the shalit.
You can even, you can put yourself back. I think people saw it.
Okay. No problem.
Yeah, I don't think we want to do that to our eyes.
They've got this port, so they've got the busiest port in the country. So right now, what they do, I don't know how to bring myself back now. What they do is they will allow Durban to fall. They will allow the CBD to fall. That's then going to be used as a campaigning point for for them having to take over the city, just like they've done with Johannesburg. They allow Johannesburg to fall in the hands of criminality and incompetence. And then now they're coming back to take over Johannesburg in the name of Helen Zille. They will do the exact same thing to KZN as well. They will just let it fall in a few years' time. Once it falls, obviously there's campaigns behind the scenes. There's campaigns behind the scenes, letting different groups of people to come through, questionable characters to come through, let the whole place fall apart. How can Durban fall when the place has the biggest port in Africa, the busiest port in Africa? And how does Johannesburg fall when it's got the busiest airport in Africa? These two cities need to be at the forefront of development in the continent as a whole. Literally, if you want to go look for money, you should go to Joburg and Durban, and then Eastern Cape and Western Cape. That it makes sense. These are the most developed places. Oh, Gauteng generally and KZN, then Eastern Cape. These are the most developed places in the country. They've got the biggest infrastructure, but even that infrastructure is literally being reversed. And these people are allowing it through some background, behind the scenes programs. And once it's fallen enough, then they come through to save. And that's exactly what's happening with with Joburg right now. They're coming to save Joburg. But trust me, in the Western Cape, there's a proposal that they want to build a wall now. The wall next to the N2. So the N2 is the road that leads you out of the airport to the city. They want to build a wall next to the N2. And guess who stays along the N2? Colored and native South Africans. It's colored and native
What?
South Africans. They stay along the N2. They've been proposing now they want to build a wall because there's some white woman who got stabbed. But the people who have been stabbed in Kailicha and in Nyanga and Menenberg and Bonteheuvel, people have been stabbed like 10 times the normal number. Go and find it. Go and check it online. They've proposed to build a wall along the N2 so that white people don't have to even see the shacks in Enyanga and the shacks in Site C Kailicha. A wall, guys. Do you understand? So basically, Cape Town is a city as an extension of America and Israel. The next wall that's coming is gonna be in Joburg. They're gonna build a wall next to Sentin and Alexandra. They're gonna build a wall next to Fishhook and Maspumelele. They're gonna build a wall next to Strand and Nomzamo. Understand?
It's funny that South Africa would do that, especially knowing that they find everything from America. In America, it's a ghetto, 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 and then you start seeing the houses just getting bigger. They don't build the walls, but in South Africa, they must build them.
Yeah, no,
You'll see the
they're gonna build
homelessness.
walls, yeah. And now here's the thing. Because they've brought in so many, they've opened the borders basically, brought in so many questionable characters. War criminals from Rwanda are here. War criminals from Burundi. I know a gentleman from Burundi. He was a child soldier. And the South African man thinks they're going to go and fight those people. Someone who was a child soldier, he's been handling a gun since he was 9 in the bushes of the Congo. When all you know is to swear at women online on TikTok and be a stooge for the rest of your life. And you think you can fight these people without any proper training.
and
That's why they're
drink.
laughing. I'm a bull. Because when they've been organizing since I was a teenager. Since I was a teenager, I remember I was at university watching videos of Afrikaner paramilitary camps. The children who are in those camps are men now. And they're managers at work. They're managers at work. They make the decisions. They decide the employment trends. I think there's a question.
Yeah,
for
they
you.
asked me if there's private or public hospitals here. There's no such thing. So the United States is a shithole, guys.
That's right.
Do not come here. This place is worse than any other place ever. I don't even know. Maybe what Trump is doing is trying. I don't know. I don't even want to validate him. But when I look at the United States, I'm always like wondering, who do you guys think you are? The only thing the United States is good with is taking everyone's tax dollars and making sure that their military is strong.
So that they can steal some more oil from
Yes.
other countries.
Because when you come here, you're going to see more homelessness than you ever did. You're going to see more people building, when they mock us about our shacks and whatnot. Come here.
Yeah.
Come see the tents. Come see the stick houses. Come see the matchboxes.
Yeah.
You're going to be very sad to even think that a person can work like this, can live like this. It's very bad out here. And the public and private thing of when it comes to healthcare is not a real thing.
Yeah.
Not like South Africa.
All right. Thank you. So in the context of everything we've discussed, I think for black people now, the biggest stumbling block is how disorganized black people are. And I'm gonna be stopping to use words like black or whatever now. You guys, when I say indigenous people, I mean indigenous people, and that's it. There's nothing beyond that. The people of this land are highly disorganized, and so we need to fix that. But to fix that, you need to want to be organized. To want to be organized, you need to be able to know what's happening. So the first thing is to know yourself, and I've always said it. Anything people ask me, how can we solve these problems? Knowledge of self. You're not going to solve a problem if you don't even know where you fit in the whole problem in and of itself. Because if you want to know what the problem is that your existence is a stumbling block to other people's dominion. That is the real problem here. Your very existence in this land, in this southern tip of this continent that they call Africa, because you exist here, you are a stumbling block to certain people's international project. You were a stumbling block for Cecil John Rhodes. You were a stumbling block for the VOC, the Dutch East India Company. You were a stumbling block for the Imperial Army of the Queen of England. You are a stumbling block right now for China. You are a stumbling block for the Arabs. You are a stumbling block for the Ruperts, the Oppenheimers, and the Rothschilds. Your existence. So what is the solution, therefore, for their program to continue? Is your existence must cease. You must stop existing for them to be able to continue without any stumbling block. So now, would it make sense for them to wipe you off just like that? It's not going to work in one go. It has to be a long-term generational process. It needs to come in the form of disease, for example, HIV and AIDS, which was injected in black South African men and women's bodies during the apartheid period. Today, we are we have the highest numbers of HIV. No. You
I think that
understand?
that's because we keep statistics.
Exactly. No, that's true. But also, let me tell you something about HIV. These people did not just come here and inject HIV in South Africa. No? They studied the science of the land, the physical soil, and they studied the physical soil of West Africa. HIV wouldn't really be able to spread properly in West Africa, even if they wanted it to spread. Instead, in West Africa, they came with a different kind of disease. Your Ebolas and your malaria, they spread more perfectly that side. In fact, there's science behind it. The soil in West Africa, the profile of the soil would inhibit, there's an explanation, it would inhibit the spread of HIV. In South Africa, I think perhaps there's a level of toxicity already that allows for HIV to thrive. They needed a different type of disease or group of diseases there, in which case they used Ebola, H1N1, malaria, and others. So HIV was perfect in the southern parts of Africa. South Africa, Lesotho, Eswatini, Zimbabwe, Botswana. It works perfectly here. And it was exacerbated by the deliberate spread. They literally injected it in people as a weapon of war during apartheid. Actually, one of the guys who went and injected HIV in people, he actually came out and, accepted that they used to do it. And the beautiful, perfect ANC didn't do anything about it. Instead, they were like, oh, we are all one. Black Africans, although there are no black Africans here, there's indigenous people of this land. So it's a concerted effort in the form of disease, in the form of entertainment, in the form of poisoning our people through carcinogenic substances like HIV, like alcohol. Alcohol literally causes cancer. But the unregulated level at which alcohol is being availed to our communities is appalling. It's a cancer-causing chemical. It's a carcinogen. Just like aerosol sprays, when you put X, it contains carcinogens. It's called carcinogenic substances. When you drink alcohol, it creates a perfect environment for cancer cells to spread and even develop. But it's unmitigated in our communities. Go to Kailicha and see. Go to Philippi and see, go to Soweto, go to Nyanga, go to Guguletu, go to Emlazi, Kwamashu. Alcohol is everywhere and it's unmitigated. Go to Sunningdale in Cape Town, in Milnerton. Go to Table View. You're not going to see not even a single advertisement of alcohol. Not a single one. Not a single advertisement of alcohol. But in the township, there's advertisements everywhere. Everywhere. So they use tools like this. They use tools like this to keep you entertained. But no, you're actually dying. I always say this to people who are close to me that in the next 10 years, the level of diseases that black South Africans are going to experience is unparalleled. The level of diseases that we're going to experience is, we've never seen anything like it before. We've never. Because Tina, we've been encapsulated by our ancestors in our own communities. They took us away from the world for a reason. They covered us in these little silos we call clans and nations for a reason. Now we've been opened up to the public. Everyone is plundering us. Left, right, and center. The Bangladeshis are plundering us. The Somalis are plundering us. Ethiopians are plundering. Eritreans are plundering. Pakistanis are plundering us. Everybody is plundering our people. And you know what's going to happen in the next 20 to 15 to 20 years? There's going to be new diseases which we've never seen. Our bodies have never had to deal with because of the level of plundering that has been happening to our body. Our genetics are changing altogether. Go to India. There's islands of indigenous Indians there. They call them Andaman and Sentinelese Islands. Those people, they don't allow strangers into their lands, right? So when strangers do actually come, the few times that they've come, cause diseases.
When a
Yeah.
Asian man tried to go to the Andamanese people, he went and he spoke Xhosa, and they unalived him.
That's what we should have done in the first place. That's what we should have done. We should have just cut the throat in the first place. And the people who have gone to the Sentinelese people brought disease and death to those people because their immune systems are not built for the toxicity of the Asian diet. The level of, microorganisms that an average Asian carries is dangerous. It's astronomically dangerous for those people of those islands. So the few times they've interacted with outsiders, it's resulted in death for them. It's the same thing that's happening to us right now. It is the same. We are dying on all fronts, from all measures that you can think of. On all measures that you can think of, we are dying through the consumption of their foods, through the consumption of their alcohol. We are even now giving birth to them. We are literally vessels of birth for them. We're no longer even giving birth to our own descendants now. We're giving birth to their descendants. That is the craziest thing. We've turned enemy to ourselves. We deliver our own destructions now. We're raising our own destruction now. The next generation of South Africans is probably only going to be 25%. In the next 50 years, South Africans are only going to be 25%. And I say the government is guilty too, because our government has erased our existence on paper. There is no any documentation that says native South African. Native South Africans. Now, a black South African has been reduced to the same status as an Indian, as a white settler. You have the same status. That's why they are fighting for any, redress towards you as a native of this land. But in America, natives are known. These are natives. Although they are being treated like dogs, at the very least, they are still natives. Here, natives have been reduced. You're not even allowed to be understood as the native of this land. In fact, they are pushing the narrative that the natives are not even natives anymore. But we know it's complete nonsense. Complete, utter garbage. Yeah.
I was gonna say that no, you're right, because so we have a group of South Africans living in the United States. Do you know how we have struggled when it comes to just eating? We have eating problems all of a sudden. And no
Really?
one speaks about it. We're the only ones who, I think we were scared to speak about it because we thought like maybe it's a disease, maybe something happened to us. like maybe South Africans wouldn't understand.
Mm.
I went, I think it was like 3 years. I
Yeah.
could only eat like peanut butter and jelly bread
Yeah.
because I could not eat the food here. There's something wrong. And we need to know for a fact that we're not supposed to be living in these areas. We're not supposed to. It doesn't make
Mm.
logical sense. We like saying it's about like other things, but mental health and the health itself.
Yes. Yes.
So I hear you 100%.
Absolutely. So black South Africans, native people. What is the solution to all of this? You know, we could talk here and get shocked day in and day out. What is the solution? I'll give Unkanyeze to explain the eating issues that black South Africans are experiencing. But the solution is this, guys. You black people are the ones who need to actually stand up now. You guys need to stop acting cool. You know, in the townships, you've got those people who want to be cool. They'd rather not eat at night. They'd rather not eat at night to buy fancy looking clothes so that they can be cool. There are those kids in class who'd rather not study because it's cool not to study. It's cool as a dude, you can't be studying. It's even in modern South African culture now. Indoda man, my sebenze kanzima must work with his hands. Indoda, my ben is palm. Well, I mean, we could debate that. But there's those ideas that you have to be cool at your own expense. Black South Africans have internalized this nonsensical idea of being cool at your own expense that they're even shy to stand up for what is right because it's not cool. You want to be cool and you want to be liked, South Africans. And I'm talking to you, South African men. You want to be liked, so you're not going to stand up and organize and do the right thing. So the first thing to do is to remove that stupid mindset of wanting to be cool. We need to start now taking the government to account. We need to take them to court. We need to take them to court, to bloody court. I'm
Don't
going to
you
be
think they're
raising
doing
3
something
campaigns.
more brutal?
Okay, yes.
So,
Okay,
like something like, for instance, if
yeah,
all black South Africans just stop paying rent, just
yes.
stop. Or if all black South Africans just stop buying Coke,
I agree.
stop
I
buying
agree.
Coca-Cola,
I agree.
there's more brutal. They will come to us and
I
ask us,
agree.
what do you guys want?
I agree.
What do you want?
Yes. So we need to actually act. Let me just correct something. Ispamu is needed. A gun is needed. But you can't be having a gun and then you are killing your own people with that bloody gun. You're literally killing each other day in and day out. You need a gun and you need education that comes with that gun. That gun is not for you to kill your girlfriend when she cheats on you. It's not for you to go around taking people's properties. That pew pew is not for you to unalive your parents and grandparents. It's for you to defend what you're building. So you can't then say you need a gun, but also you're going to be unaliving your girlfriend. Let's go back to the idea of being cool. Black people use the need to feel cool at their own expense. So they don't want to stand up for what is right because then they're going to trend and people are going to disagree with them. So they'd rather be on the cool side, which means you want to be liked. I made it clear in the beginning of this live that I don't give a damn anymore. If you're a black person and you're stupid, I will fight with you and I will be very disrespectful towards you because I do not have time to be liked by you. You have low IQ. You have no information. You offer nothing to society. So your views mean nothing to me. You don't have to like me. I'm not an influencer and I'm not a content creator. I'm an individual who's just sharing solutions for people who actually want them. That's the first thing. You must stop wanting to be liked by people and stop wanting people to agree with you because it doesn't build anything. So that's the first thing. Cut off the need to be liked, the need to be cool. Don't waste your money on alcohol, wanting young teenage girls. You're busy spreading disease and giving women pregnancies and generating more single parents. You've seen children who come from single parent families tend to have problems. They turn to a problem. Why are you impregnating women left, right, and center when you know you don't even have enough money to take care of yourself for the next 3 years if you were to lose your income? So black people need to start to organize and plan absolutely everything. Everything must be planned. So we need to revolutionize what we understand as culture, because what you understand as culture, you've imported a system of colonization that has gone through the past, minimum, the past 6 generations of your family. From the past 6 generations, your family has been colonized. So don't take anything and everything they tell you to be the truth. I've shown you how the kings themselves have been colonized. So almost a lot of the stuff we think are our values and all that, they're not actually. It's products of colonization over generation and generation and generation. So you need to when you say, oh, we are revolutionaries, you can't just be a revolutionary only by making noise on TV. You must be a revolutionary from what you eat. You better eat that sorghum. You better eat that sorghum. I said it yesterday. That pap must take a break now. That pap must take a break, because that pap is made for you by the Kirsch Consortium, the guys who fund Jewish security interests. That Iwisa and White Star doesn't go back to your community. So how about buying from some rural woman from deep Eastern Cape and deep KZN and deep Mpumalanga and deep Limpopo instead of buying from the Kirsch Consortium? Eat that sorghum, eat those avocados, but choose the ones from Mpumalanga and Limpopo from your people who will, in the same sense, buy from you. I've said it. Right now, I'm offering classes. Just yesterday, we had a 4 hours lesson. People's attorney is one of my students in that class. Mukoni. That's a lawyer right there. One of my students. We had a 4-hour session yesterday to fix what is broken. And they've been in the program for the past 5 months now. So I'm offering an alternative to the curated information, the mainstream information. I'm offering an alternative to say, guys, this is how we can build. But to build first, we need to undo what's been done. So you could literally, we could do that. You offer what you have. If you've got a piece of land, you offer it to your people. If you've got bananas, you can raise mangoes, avocados. Come, let's buy from each other. You know, it makes sense to buy the stuff from our land. You don't have to buy from Checkers. Because anyway, Checkers gets most of their stuff, especially in Cape Town, from Philippi. The farmers there are Germans. It's not black people. Anyway, so you go support Wisa and White Star. Wisa and White Star don't even sponsor black creators. They don't even sponsor black creators. There's Poppy there, the Poppy show. There's not even a Toyota that's saying, oh, Shem, Poppy is traveling. Let's give Poppy a Toyota buggy, a Land Cruiser to support her. No, but a creator who's pale here, who does 2 or 3 amapiano dances that he copied online, he's gonna go and perform at a Springbok match every time and again. And he can't even dance, this bastard, but he gets all the funding because the money is in their hands still. So we need to revolutionize, not just by making noise. Here, hito. We revolutionize the way we eat, the way we buy, the way we wear. And I know it's not going to be perfect. It's going to take time, but we have to start it. Our kids must inherit the mindset from us. We inherited a messed up mindset for the most part from our parents. Our parents were toxic and broken.
I was going to say, people are different. I actually am starting to recognize people. I'm a very frugal person. I will buy the cheapest thing ever, or I'll go and buy a black thing first. If it means I don't have eyelashes, you'll never see me with eyelashes, or a wig, or a weave, or whatever. I'll never spend my money on that. Not because I'm like, oh, I don't want to be like that. I just don't see the use of it. I want to embrace who I am. I've always been that person. No one on this app can ever say that. In Kanyezi, we ever saw her with eyelashes and she had a wig on. No one can say that. I've just never. Frugality. Why do we not have frugality? Instead, you want to go and shake your ass on a table in a club.
You understand? It's easy. It's the easy thing to do. And this is why I say our people are lazy. They are lazy to be hard on themselves. They are lazy to put themselves through pain. Our people do not want to put themselves through pain. And they don't understand. You don't just become China. You don't just lift 200 million people out of poverty in 20 years. You don't just lift 200 million people out of poverty in 600 million, sorry, in 20 years, except you exert yourself. You need to put yourself on the bloody line. You don't outsource your own well-being. Don't outsource your independence. And this is exactly the problem with us. We outsource our independence. We outsource our liberty. We outsource we don't want to own ourselves because it's difficult. It's hard to do. This is exactly how Singapore multiplied their economy 200 times in 40 years, but Malawi is still one of the poorest countries in the world. They were in the exact same level as Singapore 40 years ago. This is how Norway, since the 60s, when they discovered oil, they've become as rich, the richest country per capita in the world, or at least top two after Qatar. But some of the countries that have oil, like Nigeria, they've gotten worse. People are shitting on the streets, public defecation, human sacrifice left, right, and center. Human sacrifice level. So it has to change from an individual level. That is how you bring the revolution. You don't bring the revolution by wearing an EFF t-shirt or an ANC t-shirt or a t-shirt with the face of Steve Biko or a t-shirt with the face of Che Guevara. You could wear 1 million of those shirts. It's not going to change the fact that every weekend our people are twerking and getting drunk, raping each other and murdering each other. That's not going to change the situation. And I'm not saying you must be a bitter, ugly person who's not happy. I'm not saying you must not dance if you want to dance. You can dance all you want. But when that dance is being overtaken or hijacked by interests that take your very talent, commercialize it, and eat amongst each other, then you need to be careful about how much you dance in the public space. Because now the very same dances you do for Amapiano have been hijacked. The people who benefit from those dances are not the people who create those dances. I see too many groups from ECAS of young kids dancing, and they dance perfectly. Not even one person ever calls those kids and like, guys, let's put some money for these children. Allow them to offer their services by running some studio.
Schools in China, and they make money off of the dance move from this video.
Yes. The people come on TikTok, watch South Africans dance, take those bloody dance moves, go overseas and teach. They don't even know how to dance. They just learn every time you release a challenge. They go and repeat those steps, 10 times, and go sell your talent. Now, Europeans in South Africa, European settlers are teaching isiXhosa and isiZulu. They don't even know how to speak isiXhosa and isiZulu. They teach though, because you teach them for free, and therefore they sell it. That's why I'm saying then. Oh, by the way, guys, I'm not seeing gifts on the screen. Where are the gifts? Guys, there must be gifts. This is exactly what we're talking about. You guys don't want to give. You must give to your people, not to the strangers. Anyway, they're teaching our languages now. They don't even know our languages, but somehow they're able to teach them. And our people are there. And you know what? One of the best things they do, these people, is to take from you, commercialize it, sell to their own people, and support each other, completely excluding you from the economic prices. They take your dance, open schools, sell to their own people. Take your language, open schools, sell to their own people. Take your information, open schools, sell to their own people. That's what they do. And I've seen it time and again. I could even name names. I could literally name names. So, Tina, how do we then revolutionize? How do we then revolutionize our this whole thing? We start with ourselves. Eat clean, eat ancestral foods, the ancestral diets. Eat the ancestral diet. I try my best to restore some of the knowledge. I'm only one person. I can only do so much. I also have to work, make money for myself. So I try to, make a video. No, our ancestral food is this and this and that. Take advantage of that. Go and find. If you can, buy sorghum because it's become popular now. They even have it at Woolworths. Buy sorghum. But ultimately, you must plant it or buy it from an indigenous person at the very least. Cook sorghum, eat it. It literally fights diabetes. It fights cancer. It's the best thing you can eat. This is how our ancestors survived thousands of years without cancer. They survived thousands of years without diabetes. They didn't need European medicine. They understood the science behind eating good food. They understood it. They didn't eat medium rare steak. They knew that, oh, look, we went and hunted in the wild. We slaughter the meat, we hang it on a tree, we let it bleed out. We go and burn it in the fire. We mix it up with coal sometimes to avoid any poisoning. So you go and eat that sorghum. It's one of the most practical things you can do. Eat that hard-bodied chicken if you must eat a chicken. Although if you look at the history of chicken, it was never even food in the first place. It's a descendant of dinosaurs, that thing. But that's for another day. It was never food, eh? They used to use it for cockfighting. Just like pig was never food for us. Pig was never food. We inherited all this nonsense.
Yeah, I always wondered that why did I never eat pork? Like
Yeah, no, it was never really
my
food.
family never did it.
It was never really food. For us, we did have wild versions of pork, ingagu, reed pork, ingulube. Some people used to hunt, but these things were delicacies of hunters, especially. They were not staples. They were delicacies of hunters. Hunters, obviously, sometimes they would spend time in the wild, so they developed a little weird type of diet. Hunters would eat even snakes and lizards, but it's not a staple. For us, staple, amasi, which is very good for your gut, by the way. Amasi is extremely healthy. In fact, and I'm not even talking about religion, but if you look at the Hebrew Bible, the three angels who visited Abraham, they ate amasi. It was said to be the food of angels. Amas, literally, he slaughtered sheep and amas. Now, who told our ancestors to eat amas? It is one of the most sacred foods for us, amas. One of the most sacred foods, and then wild meat as well. But we have ways to store. So anyway, so that's how we
Would it
begin
be
the
amasi
revolution.
like without uputu?
Yeah, amasi, you can drink amas. You can eat
Okay.
amasi with meat. You can eat very good with meat as well. Amasi is not just for uputu.
Oh
Uputu, I mean,
wow.
it's a new thing anyway. We didn't even grind
Okay.
maize meal like that. You could eat amasi with inkobe. You can even eat amasi with indigenous bread, known
Yes.
as amaqebengwana in isiXhosa, or
Would
umkhulu.
that be dombolo? Oh
Yeah, it's a type of indigenous bread. It's made with corn. Made with corn. Tina, we call it amaqebengwana or umkhupha. So you could eat amasi with that as well, you know.
okay.
So anyway, amasi, Msemelelo, what do you think utsiki is? Don't you know that utsiki, the woman is welcomed into the house with amasi and meat? You think the elders are dumb when they do that? They literally give a woman amasi because it's food that comes from the assets of the family, the cows. Meat is food that comes from the assets of the family and the cows. Amasi and beef are literally some of the most respected foods in our culture because they come from the family most prized assets, the cows. Come on, guys. Anyway, so that's how you start now with the revolution. It begins at an individual level. You take care of yourself, then you organize around like-minded individuals. Don't try to save black people. They don't need to be saved. They don't deserve it. Because they will unalive you. They will backstab you. Don't try to save abantu abansundu. You will end up like, let me keep quiet. You end up like ubantu biko. You will end up like uani. Musa ukuzama ukubasindisa. They wanna be destroyed. They want it. They know exactly what's happening out there. Abantu abansundu are not dumb. They are not stupid. They like it. They like to be victims. They like to kiss ass. They like to lick the ass of the colonizer and let them do it. Mara, when you stick with those who want to free their minds, and you will gravitate towards them naturally. You will gravitate towards them naturally. Yes, you don't mix amasi and nyama. Guys, why do people assume the dumbest things every time when we speak? Who said you must mix amasi with nyama? Like put. You take a piece, you can even use amasi as a dip. You don't mix it like upud. Hey, you'll be like Lumumba if you wanna save black people.
You know what's funny is that the book that I could not finish. I was writing a book since 2020. It was How I Survived My Own People, the people I could not save. I still can't finish it. I've started to realize we were on a live just yesterday. I was like, Pan-Africaners, I cannot talk to them anymore. They raise my blood pressure. I'm okay. This whole thing, the Amasi conversation, we already had it. They can sit there with their conversations there. This
Yes,
thing
yes.
about saving black people, it's a real conversation that we need to have because we always feel like we need to go and bring them by the ear, pull them by
Yeah.
the ear. Come, come, come,
The
come.
dumbest thing you can ever do. I don't like you're literally destroying your life. You are shortening your health. You must detach from that colonial thing of black people. It's not real. What you must do though, focus on what you are doing. Those who agree with you will join. Those who wanna live and say when they come from Congo, they must go. Those who wanna go and serve Europeans and focus on, they must do it. They are free to do it. But Tina who understand that our existence is impertinent. It is absolutely imperative that we sustain ourselves and allow our children to be free. This is where starts to form now. Because you cannot allow your children to mix their seed with the people who allow themselves to be dogs to Europeans. You cannot allow your child to marry into a family of stupid people. If these people allow themselves to be lapdogs to Europeans, don't allow your children to mix with that. Your children must inherit the good genes because genes mutate because of your environment. Your genes do change. With this information that I'm giving you, it does change your genetics. It creates new neural paths on your brain and it influences your genes. Your children must inherit those good genes. It's important that you do the work in your lifetime. It's important that you undo the evil work that's been done to your ancestors in your lifetime so that your kids can at least inherit the good genes. And yes, stop bunny hopping. Ziyekeni izintombi zabelungu. Wayekeni amankazana amabhulu. Bayekeni abelungu. Bayekeni abelungu. Bayekeni abelungu. I have to say it 3 times. Bayekeni abelungu in Dr. Uma Johnson's fashion. And stop sexualizing everything. So there was someone here yesterday sending messages here. Ngiqhanyelwe, send me a message in this number. Uqhanyelwa njani sithetha nge-problems that we are facing? Why are you khanyelwa when we're talking about our problems? You are the kind that needs to be taken to a dark corner and sikhuphe impambano the impetu umbungu lo usenhloko utya ubuchopho bakho we must take it out through a proper operation of the fist because clearly bakhona nje abantu abanyama abadinga induku sometimes bakhona abantu abanyama abadinga induku udinga induku wena muntu omnyama and you think uyidinga kum your father should have beaten you up man. I'm against abuse, guys. Please, abuse of children and all those things. I don't like those things. But there's a problem. So some of our people they do need indugu, even if it's indugu intellectual. I can give that one. I can give intellectual ndugu. I'm more than comfortable. But you must love yourself, guys. That is the solution. How do you see intombi ebhulu and think, oh damn, I want to reproduce, but I want the child to not look like me. I want to reproduce, but I want the child to not even look like me. You know that child's gonna come out there, they don't even want to be black. Because being black is an insult in this world. They don't want to be black. They don't even know how to speak your language. Mixing your seed with Neanderthals. Mixing your seed with green-eyed ice cave beasts from the Caucasus Mountains.
You know, Sandile, on this app, people think I'm psycho because I talk to people with violence. Because violence is what destroyed you. Only violence can unwind you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you're going to be nice, they're going to spit on you. They will pee on you. If you're going to be nice, they will pee on you. They don't want... Being nice is not going to work. Remember, we are not cousins. We are not fair. You're not my child. I don't have to be nice here. You take the information or you leave. You move along. I even see sometimes in the comments, people are like, no, we must disagree to... Hey, Baba, this is not a safe space. I've been saying that. I'm not creating a safe space here. If you think this is a safe space, go somewhere else. Here we are dealing with a problem. And to solve the problem, we cannot use the same thinking that created the same problem. Our ancestors were nice to Europeans. Read the book by the survivors of the shipwreck, Stevenise, which happened in 1686. 1686, there was a shipwreck in the Eastern Cape, Pondoland. The survivors traveled from Eastern Cape. They were going to Western Cape. They passed through Amampondo Mise, Amabomvana, Abatembu, and they met Amaxhosa. They praised Amaxhosa as being the nicest. What did Amaxhosa get after that? Nothing. They lost all their lands, Amaxhosa, from Beaufort West all the way to Gqeberha. So being nice didn't help them. Those guys who survived the Stavanese came, they were collected by Europeans. It is there. It is there. I will show you. I will show you guys the book. So they call the Xhosa king was actually Utogu. And there were many other shipwreck survivors between then, since the 1500s, by the way. 1552, 1554, there were many shipwreck survivors, Portuguese, English, Dutch. They mixed there. Some of them even mixed and created descendants known as Abelungu, Emambondweni, and Kwabomvan, known as Abelungu. Others are known as Amamolo. These are European descendants. They are still there to this day. So this is how you then fix the situation. You start by fixing yourself. Secondly, you organize. You organize with those who are similarly minded.
Collective.
Yes, you organize, but only after you fix yourself. You can't be trying to mix up with us, but when I get weekend, line every weekend. We are trying to say, look, guys, let's open a market. But in this market, only members of the Sandile Tukani University are going to sell on this market. Or only members of this group can, what is this? Can engage in this market. No, guys, I have to go and there's a groove there. You can't prioritize that, so you must work on yourself first. You're not ready. You're not ready. And then after you organize with the like-minded people, we need action. We need activism for awareness purposes. Activism for awareness purposes. And then real action now to build. So activism, we do it. We can do it digitally. We can organize. We can create visibility. For example, one of the things I'm going to be doing an activism work for is, what is this thing? Road signs. Road signs in South Africa are always in English or Afrikaans. And I've had enough of that. I've had enough of it. The Department of Traffic, the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture need to do something. I cannot be forced to read Afrikaans every time I'm driving. You see weg, you see road. You don't see ndlela. You don't see tsela. The languages are dying. The languages we speak. That's the first campaign I'm going to engage in. And I'm going to embarrass this government because they are weak. They cannot prioritize the natives of the land. Metric exam papers are written in English or Afrikaans. And they say our language is not developed enough. Well, if the language is not developed, give me bloody 5 million so that I can develop it for you. Give me 5 million and I'm going to develop it for you. You have the money. Because then Kat Matala is taking the money from you. Steenhuisen is taking the money from you. Chowing Uber Eats with the money. Chowing Uber Eats with the money. Steenhuisen he's become bigger now than he ever was.
You know what's funny is that these things are actually available. As my mother works for the United Nations, and she always says, I don't understand why South African people, they don't apply for these grants and these fundings and stuff like that. And I went online and I said, Mom, they don't show them. They don't show them to us. So I'm going to need you to give me a list. Because I think it's time we start applying for these grants and fundings.
Yeah.
Why is there $25 billion waiting for South Africans to claim, but no South African claims them?
Yes, yeah.
They don't have a story. They don't have something to tell. They don't have a reason as to why they want to claim it. We need to start figuring out what are we creating so that we can write up. If it's paperwork, I will figure it out, guys. Let's start writing up paperwork so that we can say we will need this funding for this.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing. Someone is like, which language are we going to translate these things to? Guys, there's 11 official languages, 12 now. But here's the thing. In each province, there are official languages in those provinces. For example, in the Eastern Cape, there's 3 official languages. It's Xhosa, English, and Afrikaans. Every government communication should be in Xhosa, English, and Afrikaans in the Eastern Cape. In the Western Cape, there's 3 official languages. It's Xhosa, English, and Afrikaans. All government communication should be in those 3 languages. In KZN, there's official languages. It's Zulu, Afrikaans, and English. All communication should be. I didn't know Sesotho is official. I'm talking about official languages. I know in the Northern Cape, Xhosa is also an official language, and in Free State, Xhosa is official. So that is the best thing you can do. You start with the official languages. In each province, there are official languages. I don't mind reading road signs in Tivenda, in Limpopo, and Sipedi, and Kilobedu. I want that. When I'm in Pumalanga, I want to read in Sindrebele and in Siswati. When I'm in KZN, I want to read isiZulu. Because the numbers in those provinces dictate so. What I do not want is to be forced to read a European settler, colonizer, invader language in 2025. In 2025. You understand how difficult it is to teach children calculus in a foreign language. If they could just understand what is a sine graph in their language, they would never forget it again, because it's very simple concepts. They are not difficult at all. These concepts are not difficult. I promise you, they are not difficult at all, because you hear the word, it makes sense. It's your language. Unga, ndatu, 3-sided makes sense. It can't be 4-sided because the name says 3-sided. Do you guys understand? So there needs to be money invested into this, and it has to be the government. And otherwise, we have to do it ourselves. Even physics is not difficult. All you need to do, go back to the original words. Most of these words were Latin. Most of the words were Latin. You know, if you go back to the original meanings of this, they were mostly Latin words. And Latin words are very basic, very simple, straightforward. You know, calculus, that's Latin. Biology, Latin. Bio, life. Logi, study. The study of life is Greek, Latin. So these things are not difficult at all, guys. Even the scientific names of things, you know. Even the scientific names, even the legal language. Stare decisis, prima facie, onus probandi. It's very basic words. It's very basic words. Prima facie, ubungqina bokuqala. Prima first. You know, so it's what you have as the beginning evidence. What you have, like the facts that you have for now. They can be proven false later, but that's what prima facie is. Onus probandi. The duty to prove. The responsibility to prove. That's it. Responsibility, we have the name. Prove, we have the name. That is the onus probandi. So the thing is, these things are not difficult, but when your brain is screwed up and full of fluids from European colonization for 600 years, you can't think even for yourself, because your brain has been used to elevating European more than anything else. Your existence is for the pleasure of Europeans and nothing else. If it's not Europeans, you will replace it with Arabs. No, let's do the Arab way. Alhamdulillah. If it's not Arabs, you'll replace it with Chinese. You don't want to stand on your own because you're weak and broken. That's why then, if you plant a tree and there's branches there that don't produce fruit, you take those branches that don't produce fruit, you throw them in the fire and they burn because they have no other use. A branch that doesn't produce fruit, burn it in the fire once and for all. We're not going to waste time with people who are I don't even want to use the actual word, but if your mind is being screwed by Europeans, white supremacy, you're a white supremacist that hates yourself, then move. Go and stay in Europe and serve them and see if they want you in their country. See if they want you. They don't want you in their country. You're a bloody baboon. Your very existence disgusts them.
They said one gorilla at a time. This one time I was on a live. They said one gorilla at a time. I said, hey,
Ugabuga.
hey,
But this
yo,
is ugabuga. And
ooga
yet you
booga.
are busy wanting to elevate them. We ugabuga. Hey, the ugabugas. So, that's the next step now. We take these things publicly, we raise awareness. And you're raising awareness. Remember, there are dumb black people that you're going to meet along the way, the 30% gang. Don't mind them. You have to be brutal towards them because they are mentally possessed. And that's allegory. They are possessed in their heads. They are not black, actually. In fact, they're white. The black people who hate themselves are actually white people. They're white supremacists. They will defend white supremacy at any cost. It's the same group who say apartheid was better, but in apartheid they were not even part of they were not there. They were not even citizens. They had to carry passes because they were foreigners in their own land.
I
That's what
think
stupidity
also the
does.
sad thing is that we also do talk a lot about white people and we never talk about Arab.
Yeah,
They're one of those ones.
yeah.
The evil
Amasilams,
kind.
Mamenemen Amadal, they are stealing. They have private airports there in the Eastern Cape. Amasilams taking lands there in Limpopo. Taking lands in Limpopo. So that is the next step. Remember, I said you revolutionize by fixing yourself first. Your diet, your health, your well-being, your mentality, everything. Fix yourself. Secondly, like-minded people. Thirdly, raise awareness. And then you need action. Put your money where your mouth is. Put your money where your mouth is. No, you're not gonna revolutionize while you are laying there every day. You don't wanna work. You must stand up and work. Stand up and work. Do something. If you don't have a job, save money, buy land. If it's too much for you, support someone, support a business,
Or just
do
talk to the right
something.
people. Talk to the right people. Because
Yes.
a person, there are people out here who'll be like, hey, here, I've got this for you. Come here, come and do this. You know, I was going to say, when I think about all of this, when I think about like the whites and the Arabs and everything, I always ask myself, you know, I even get scared to sleep, Sandile. I
Yeah.
get scared to sleep because I literally will think I'll sleep and have dreams that I'm in a war, and they're always unaliving me for some reason, and I always have to play dead. Why? Why? I always ask myself, like, what is the symbolism for this? Because, you know, we understand that dreams are still symbols.
Yeah,
What is
yeah.
the symbolism for? Why do I always feel like, and I've now even taken a step back because I'm like, no, there's no way. These people are really infiltrating my energy
Yes,
in
of
some kind
course.
of way.
That's why what you must do is from time to time disappear. Take a sabbatical. Go on a hiatus. You need to disappear from time to time. They will infiltrate you, and when they do, like true vampires, they will mind screw you. You won't believe it. Next thing, you'll be the next Ike Kumar. You'll be the next Ike Kumar. I'm telling you, Mandi Samacheko vibes. So that is what we do, guys. You take physical action. I need a man. If you are a soldier or you've done combat, you must train other men. South African men don't know how to fight, they're weak. Abelungu endleleni during road rage. But when they're fighting a black man, and the black man falls. Road rage is exposing how weak our men are. I need our men to fight. Need our men to be organized, discipline instilled. We must stop being fat, guys. We have to stop being fat. We are too fat now. It's not good. Who's gonna protect the children? Who's gonna protect the women? Who's gonna protect the elders? Who's gonna do it? Who's gonna do it? I remember in the Eastern Cape there was a taxi violence thing, and the Somalis came out fighting the taxi drivers. The Somalis were all carrying AK-47s, and it's rare to find obese Somalis in South Africa. They are all slim and ready for war. That's what we need for our men. That is physical action. Women must stand up and train the ladies. Train the ladies not to be delusional. Train the ladies not to enslave themselves to money and power, not to reduce themselves to prostitution, which they do nowadays, whether in the church or in entertainment circles. Ladies must stop being bottle girls because we know what bottle girls are. Come on, guys. We all know what they're doing there. They must stop. Our women must stop being reduced. We must train the ladies to stop giving birth. Must stop being birth vessels for the wrong people. Stop being birth vessels. Stop giving birth to monsters, monstrosities who are going to come and take this country, which they're already doing. Stop it. Both men and women, fix your minds. Give birth to your own versions. Don't give birth to a stranger. Give birth to yourself.
You know that injection, I think it's called Rotham or something. Yeah. The fact that as a black woman you have to take an injection to give birth to a different race. Hi, guys.
You understand? Uphethe isilo ngaphakathi. Uphethe isilo ngaphakathi. Isilo esawuvuka sibuye ngawe. Sawubuya ngawe. These people you give birth to them, they don't even like you. They don't even like you. Understand? So we need to be very careful. So that's what you do. Someone was saying in this point that I'm raising about taking action. Someone is saying I must open a bookstore. Guys, I do sell digital books. I've got hundreds and hundreds of really, really good books. In my bio, I've written there, you have to inbox me. If you want a book, I've got books on isiZulu, really great books. I've got books on isiXhosa, I've got books on isiSwati, I've got books on Sindrebele, I've got books on these stories that I talk about, like the shipwrecks, Stavenise, books from the 1600s and 1800s. I even have books that are written in German and Portuguese, which is where the information is. So I've got hundreds and hundreds of books, really good ones that you're not going to find anywhere else. I've collected them in the past 15 years. I've got books by black authors and colonial records as well. That's how we get to know that when Sarah Partman was being sold, it was also West Africans who were involved in the selling. That's how I got to know there was some of the Xhosa people were enslaved by Europeans. Yeah. I actually recently found out there was a slave from the Xhosa clan of Amantinde. A slave. We don't often hear about these things, but you have to have these books, and it's hard. To be honest, most of these books are owned by international universities, not South Africans. Most of these books are owned by your Stanford University, University of California, University of Columbia. I have to engage with these people to get these books. Yeah, but so I do have books for those about Funayo. I do have good dictionaries as well. Very good ones. And then I do have a program that I'm doing. I've got my students here. There's my student there. They pay 250 a month for 6 months. The first cohort is graduating in January. And then they are moving over to a secret society. Or what do you call a UIP? A civic movement.
Why am I not involved in this?
Don't worry. We'll engage. There's a civic movement we are starting in February. You see what AfriForum is doing? We're doing that for our people. It's called Undo. It's launching in February. But for people to join that, they have to be part of the project first. I cannot have people who are going to be telling me, oh, Western education is good. You need to see for yourself what Western education has achieved in all native populations in the world. So you start with the program 6 months, you graduate over to Undo. Then there we're actually organizing real action. One of the members of this program that I'm doing actually took her kids out of school. Together with the husband, they agreed. They took the kids out of school. Now I have to launch a young children's curriculum.
You have to.
I have to, because then more and more kids are going to be going out of the school process. So all I'm saying is that I am doing something. I want to do more, guys. I want to do more. I know that I should be doing more. I try to engage even with some of these departments, Department of Social Development, Department of Arts and Culture. Some of them call me, and man, they don't want to pay those ones. They don't want to pay those people.
What?
Department, I'm engaging. So
I always think about it that we need to there needs to be some way that we can share your link, not just on TikTok.
Yes.
Some of us actually have platforms on Facebook and YouTube. We need to be able to share the link, because this is what I've always been talking about, is that where's the collective?
Exactly. So in February, beginning of February, I'm launching Undoko. It's an umbrella name for a space where I want people to come. There's an educational side to it because it's necessary. Our people, it's like they have mental disorders, so they must first be healed. And then there's the activism side, and then there's the building side. Ultimately, what I want is for us to circulate our money within ourselves. We need to circulate our money. We need to own our country. We need to own our capacity. To be able to own our country, we must first realize that it is our country. For it to be our country, it's not something that's de facto. It's something that must be practical. It's an action word for it to own. Ownership is action. It's action. We can't just own things by word of mouth because the ANC says so. In fact, the ANC says South Africa belongs to all who live in it. That's not what our ancestors did.
I won't even lie. I would like to even pay for other people to join it.
They must come in.
They must come in. If whoever contacts you, I would love to, because one thing's for sure and two things for certain. I've always said that we need a community where we're going to know exactly what to do.
Absolutely. And for we need the greatest of the greatest minds to come together. Brother Lee Makara is in the project. Brother Lee Makara is in the project. He has already paid for 2 months. People's attorney here in the comments is in the project. That's a lawyer right there. That's a lawyer with international projects, by the way. It's not
Why hasn't Lee told me? I talked to Lee personally.
No, Brother Lee is in the project. So no, don't worry, guys. There's still really good time. So the project again is 250 monthly, but obviously, you know, the whole point is for you to have access to a point of nexus of people who want to reclaim themselves. I create this project as a fulcrum, a cornerstone for self-knowledge and pride, to be able to allow our people to actually believe in themselves. The truth is that our people don't believe in themselves. So people's attorney is there, Brother Lee Makara. There was another lady here called Mahadebe. She's also one of the students. And there are many other gentlemen who also create content. So please, guys, there are people that are volunteering themselves to pay for you guys if you want to join the program. Sister Nganyezi is volunteering. Mukoni, people's attorney is volunteering. So please, guys, inbox them, please, because it's 2026. In 2 weeks, it's 2026. We cannot just be wasting our lives, just waking up, sleeping. Oh, abelungu. We need to organize. And once Undoko launches, unfortunately, I'm gonna be going to court. I'm gonna be fighting left, right, and center. I'm gonna take these people head on, and I need a strong. Yes, I need a strong spirited people, a strong minded people, alongside. Oenga Peter, we need to talk on the side, please, because I already have a logo and everything that's needed. So yeah, that's what I was trying to say. On the action of doing something concrete, that's what I'm doing on my side. I've got more than 15 years worth of knowledge, in-depth, secret knowledge. And it's high time that our people have access to this. But once you see, you cannot unsee again. You're not going to be cool anymore. I'm not cool, I know that. I don't want to be cool. I've always been a nerd. You see, that is a trophy from Investec in my high school days. But I don't bask on that. That's another one and another one. I've always been a nerdy guy, but I'm very practical. I'm pragmatist, and I think it's time that we take action. We have to take action, guys. We have to take bloody action and change the situation. AfriForum is about... What you see with AfriForum is birth pangs. What you see with Solidarity is birth pangs. Something is coming. Something is coming out of the tunnel, and unfortunately, most black people are not ready. Even if the worst case scenario could happen, we get attacked. Black people, unfortunately, they're not ready. They don't have a clue of what it takes to build something. So that is on my side. So those one books, you guys can inbox me if you want to buy my books. I've written there on the thing. The cheapest one is 200 Rand, but we're going to chat about that. Those want to join the program, 250 per month, you can come through. And Wenga Peter, we need to talk on the side regarding the website. And yeah, guys, I mean, ultimately the goal is, I know not everyone has money to pay. I'm here doing it
I
for
won't
free.
lie. I won't lie. I would love to be the social media person for it, exhibit it. But I do want to help other people who cannot afford to get in there. Guys, we're wasting our time. Every day we're talking about politics, the difference between capitalism and communism. It's not going to change the price of cheese.
Exactly. Exactly. Our people are dying left, right, and center. It's not helping anything. Capitalism, communism, it's all designed by the same people.
Exactly.
Tell you one thing. Karl Marx was, I don't want to mention his ethnicity, but you know who he was. The people that you can't mention. That's Karl Marx, the father of communism. The ethnicity that you can't mention because you're gonna lose anything you have access to. So that is on the practical side. Brother Limakara is here. So if you guys need more information, you can talk to them. You can come to me directly, please. Please come to me directly. What I don't do normally, I don't answer if someone is writing 20 paragraphs and I'm not getting the point. I will not answer because some people are saying weird things in my inbox. Witchcraft things. Witchcraft things. If you don't afford, it's fine. Join in on the work. There's a brother who just joined called Kevnat. The brother, even if he has 50 rand, he will donate 50 rand. He understands that it takes time for me to even get to know these things. But the point here is to get my people to awaken so that they can build for themselves. And not everyone has to do what I'm doing. If you want to launch a different program on the side focused on cooking, like Uno Dange, Umageba, do that. Indigenous culinary school. You can come and consult with me. I give you some information. I've got people who are doing PhDs and masters. I've got people who are doing PhDs and masters. I kid you not, who will consult and pay. And pay. So this is very serious. It's not. That's why I'm telling people. Now I'm not a content creator and
Can I
no
also say
influencer.
something?
Yeah.
I understand that there's other people who are advertising their businesses right now. I'm sorry. The whole community development, we're going to be doing community development forever. I'm at a point where I need to be in a space where people are remembering who the hell they are. I'm sorry. We're going to be doing this forever. Forever.
Yes. Yes.
Aye. We can't do that forever. We need to
Absolutely.
figure out where are we going?
Yes. Yes.
So that's my thing is like, I'm sorry, I never actually contribute to those kind of things because I always feel like it's just a cycle. We
Exactly.
continuously do it.
Which community are you developing when the community doesn't exist in the first place?
Exactly.
It's just a bunch of black bodies that are going around peddling white supremacist propaganda for generations. That's what black people are. I used to say, there are no black people. We are not black people. We are not a people because we don't have the same agenda. We are just physical bodies with dark skin and we're going around spewing and peddling white supremacy. In fact, majority of black people are white supremacists. That's why they hate themselves. That's what white supremacists demands. For you as a black person to exist in white supremacy, for you to exist in a system of white supremacy, the pretext to that, the prerequisite is that you hate yourself. You have to hate yourself. You have to hate yourself. That's the only way white supremacy will engage with you. Look at the biggest creators who peddle self-hate. Their biggest fans are almost always white supremacy. I saw DJ Smooth bringing Chris Wyatt, the AfriForum white supremacist American liar, bringing him into his platform after Nota called white people beasts. He brought that bloody bastard into his platform. He brought who's the guy who always disrespects them? Who's that Russian false billionaire, the Russian Jew immigrant? Rob Herzog.
Rob? Yeah,
Rob
Rob
Herzog.
Herzog.
They bring Rob Rasov. He disrespects them time in and time out. Every time. They even brought, who's this, the father? The guy who's abusing little children, who did weird things with children and his stepchildren. The father of Musk.
Yes.
Every time they bring these people disrespect them. They don't even like them.
No, they
They don't
even
even
laugh
like
with
them.
them. They laugh with them.
Yeah, Elon Musk.
How are you laughing with your enemy? I will punch your. And I'm sorry to the enigmatic. I'm sorry. Even if it is about education, I don't believe in westernized education. I don't believe in also other African education. I'm sorry. I need to know who the hell I am and where I'm going.
Absolutely. Exactly. Exactly. And here's the thing. The one thing that our ancestors did to survive thousands of years, it worked. For the past 300 years, we've been dwindling. We are a fragmented people. Mentally, we are fragmented. One person is moving to the left, the other one is moving to the right. We don't have any place where we say we are stable, we are going here. That means this Western system that we are in, with its education, clearly is not helping us. Western education is not helping us. How many PhDs do black people have? But somehow there's not even one full curriculum. One full curriculum, even for primary schools in an indigenous language, even one indigenous language. But we've got so many black people with PhDs. What are they doing with those bloody PhDs then? What are the PhDs for if they are doctors in their spheres of knowledge, but they still have to continue peddling the same white supremacy? So the entire system is just white supremacy. Your very existence is white supremacy. So you have to detach from that nonsense. You have to detach, and it's a church system anyway, because all those gowns, those graduation gowns and nonsense, the hats you wear, those things are from bishops. So that is the next step, guys, now, the step of action. And after the step of action, I'm talking about revolution now. Real revolution. Not the revolution of toying and burning things that have nothing to do with you. The next step of revolution is succession and legacy. Succession and legacy. You design something for the next group to come and take and use as a weapon. See? Carl is Carl. Yo, it's a revolution. Let's wear a t-shirt, comrades. Comrade what? You are unfit. You can't fight if there's a war that's needed. You will die first in a line of battle, but you are busy calling people comrade. Comrade, toy, toy. After that, you're gonna go to Mark and Bean or Wimpy and eat some food with a lot of salt. Then go to a European dentist and then go buy at H&M, which actually made an advert at the coolest monkey in the jungle. Your entire system is out of your control, Mario. You're calling yourself a revolutionary. You're not a revolutionary. You're just a noisemaker. That's all you are. You are not a revolutionary. Because if you look at Russia, they're running their own systems. You can call them revolutionaries. You can call them that because they're building and running their own things. You could look at China, they're building and running their own things, and they know exactly who they are. You could go and search on Chinese history. It goes back 5,000 bloody years. You say, oh damn, we are the first people on earth. South Africa is the cradle of humankind. But you don't know your history in the 1800s. You don't even know where your surname comes from. But you are the cradle of humankind. Which one? China. 5,000-year-old history. Indigenous African group, they don't even know their history going back 5 generations. Tell me about your ancestors six generations ago. Who was it and where were they? That's when you realize, I know, man. What are we doing? Senzan? What are we doing? We are all Sichigelas and Daweninye. This is the real matrix. The real matrix. I saw a video yesterday of a horse. I don't know the name of this thing, but it's something that's like a merry-go-round. It's moving around and it's got these curtains that are falling off. So each horse is in between 2 curtains. And because the curtains are moving and there's one coming behind it, the horse thinks if he doesn't move with this, it's going to hit him or something. And all the horses are running with this thing. They don't see beyond the curtain and beyond the other curtain. They only see what's in front of them. One horse realized that, no, man, this is an illusion. He stops, the curtain just passes through him, and he didn't run anymore. That's exactly what our people need. To see beyond the curtain. See beyond the bloody curtain. How are you fighting and bringing a revolution? But firstly, the clothes you are wearing are made by the same person you're saying you're fighting against. After that protest, you're going to go and eat at that person's establishment. You're going to go eat at that person's establishment. Do you know who owns Mug and Bean? By the way, it's the same family that owns Panarotis. Same family that owns Rokomamas. Same family that owns Wimpy. And I don't want to mention their ethnicity once again. You know why. And you know who. Last year, there was an event of the ANC in Cape Town. Khayelitsha. Those ANC people were not spending money in Khayelitsha-owned businesses. They were in Waterfront, they're comrades. And how you know by that it's the comrades? They're fat, all of them. They're all fat. And I'm not body shaming anyone. It's the truth. All of them. I know these are ANC people. They are fat. And you can see they are not familiar with this environment. They were all in Waterfront. They were all in Century City spending money like nobody's business. They are going to a conference in Khayelitsha. People in Khayelitsha are breathing poo and feces on the road. There's no electricity in Khayelitsha at that time. ANC comrades are busy buying in Waterfront. Who do you think owns those shops there in Waterfront? You think it's people from Khayelitsha? The ones they are hosting an event for. The ones they're hosting an event for, but they're not buying in those businesses. There are businesses in Khayelitsha. There are businesses. There are restaurants in Khayelitsha. There are Airbnbs in Khayelitsha or guest houses. There's even a 3-star hotel in Khayelitsha. No ANC person was staying in the 3-star hotel. They were staying in City Lodge, in the Waterfront, Southern Sun, and CBD. They were staying in the hotels that are owned by, I'm not going to mention the ethnicity. You know who owns Southern Sun. And when you realize, no, man, this is a joke. This is a joke, man. These people are just managing you. Your politicians are managing you. These so-called revolutionaries are managing you. They are managing you. There's this politician from Uganda, Bobby Wine, so-called revolutionary. He was dancing there in the Brandhurst Foundation in their one of their latest videos. He was dancing there for the Oppenheimer family together with Khalima Mutlanti, Musi Maimane, Gacha Buthelezi, and many other politicians who don't get along, but they all get along when they have to go and make a video for the Brandhurst Foundation, which is a front foundation for the Oppenheimer family. They all answer to the same people, and they all have one agenda: to manage you. Even Lindiwe Mazibuko, the one who left the DA, still reports to the Oppenheimer. It's there. Just go online. Go online, check Brandhurst Foundation. You will see the favorite revolutionary of Uganda, Bobby Wine. He's there. Guys, this video is going to be on my YouTube. Sandile Tukani on YouTube. Go check it out. Subscribe, please, and watch. Please go and watch. So that is the practical aspect, the most important aspect. But to be able to do the practical aspect, you need to fix yourself inside first. So that you don't come every live that I host and ask me the same thing. What about the colored people? What do we do? Yay! Fix yourself, man. So that you understand that this is very big. This is a big thing. They want to take a hold of the ports of the country. They already have the land. They are trying to grab the ports from the hands of the weak, corrupt puppets who are called politicians. And I'm not saying ANC, because ANC doesn't run the country anymore, guys. Well, they never did, but officially they don't run the country. The ANC is not the government of South Africa. The government of South Africa is ANC, DA, what is that party of the 28th? Patriotic Alliance, the party of Ugacha, IFP, I'm not sure, MK, I'm not sure about EFF, but we know at the national level is the GNU, the party of the group of Uber Eaters, the guys who finish credit card money on Uber Eats. These are the people who run the country, Baba. They chow the money on Uber Eats. So now that is what we have to do. We have to be very practical. Practical, pragmatist, and we take action on the ground. Don't try to win everyone over. You're gonna screw yourself over. People are gonna screw you. People are gonna backstab you, especially black people. They're gonna destroy you if you're trying to win them over. They're gonna destroy you because some of them will have been operatives of these Europeans. Guys, I don't control everyone who's on these lives as well. There's people on these lives that I don't know. There's people who will send me something via email. When I look at the surname of this person, this person is Dutch. This person is Afrikaner. They hide themselves. They're sending me certain things. So if you're going to get on the journey of self-knowledge, you're going into a place of darkness. But in that place of darkness, there's a treasure. The treasure is freedom in within self. Once you take a hold of that treasure, you're calling all sorts of attention. Good and bad. Good and bad. So even here, just know they are watching you. Just know they are watching you. So now the last point I want to make, because now it's 10 past 8. The last point I want to make today is that how to deal with AfriForum. They should have been criminalized long ago. So that's already late. AfriForum should have been criminalized long ago. But now they even litigate legal cases. They litigate legal cases. Yeah, now, I want you to go to learn about how Dutch people took the land. That's what I want to leave you with today. How Dutch people took the land. There was something called Wederrechten that they did. I wrote the notes down here. There was a process that they invented called Wederrechten. Go and check it out online. It's called, in the Netherlands, it was called Wederrecht or Wederrechten, traditional grazing rights. They use that. Wederrechten, they also use Lenningplatz. It was an expropriation system through which they took the land. Lenningplatz, Wederrechten, and they used a commando system. So it was a 3-tier system that the Dutch used to take South African indigenous land. Wederrechten, Lenningplatz, and commando. They used these 3 features. They expropriated the land. Today, AfriForum, Solidarity, which are the public-facing organizations, but they are funded by organizations that are private, that you're not going to know of. They're trying to prevent any form of expropriation that's going to happen. Any form of expropriation that's going to happen. They're trying to prevent it. But they expropriated through a 3-tier system. Wederrechten, Lenningplatz, and the commando system. Go and find out what those are. It comes from the Netherlands. It's not from here. They use a system from the Netherlands. That's why even one of the most prominent leaders of apartheid was a Dutch foreigner. Hendrik Verwoerd was born in the Netherlands. He was a foreigner, literally. He was not even a settler. He was an immigrant. Just like Helen Zille and Rob Hertzhoff are immigrants. But somehow Helen Zille, an immigrant, ends up being a premier of the Western Cape. Rob Hertzhoff, an immigrant, goes on international platforms to badmouth the country. An immigrant. Phil Craig, the guy who's running that Mickey Mouse organization called Cape Independence, an immigrant. You guys think the whole thing of immigrants is just starting? It's been happening. Immigrants have been running the country. Verwoerd was an immigrant. Helen Zille, an immigrant. Rob Hertzhoff, an immigrant. Phil Craig right now in Cape Town doing the whole Cape independence propaganda machinery. Immigrant. I'm trying to show you that you think it's separate from the other immigrants. It's the same thing. They're all immigrants and they all like each other. The Somalis like the whites. The Pakistanis like the whites. All immigrants like the white immigrants because if you then uproot any immigrant, the other immigrant doesn't like it. Where are the indigenous South Africans in all of this? They're drunk and dancing. It's called culture. Aye, oh, South Africa is a vibrant country. Get December. It's a slogan, Baba. Get December, boss. Let's dance. Yep. You'll be hungry in January. You'll be hearing black people saying, January is 5 weeks. In January, go to places that sell cars. Go to places that sell cars. See who's buying the cars there in January. Go and see for yourself. Don't wait for me. Go look who's buying the bloody cars. It's not you and me. You know, we were dancing. It is Baba. Let me answer that question on Monday. Year after year. Year after year. We do the exact same thing. Drunk with the wine of Babylon. I beseech you guys, if you want to know more about the things I'm talking about, be patient with yourself. Don't rush. Do not rush the process of learning. Be patient with yourself. Go through my videos. A lot of the stuff people are asking about, I've spoken about in detail. Roman Dutch law, indigenous law systems, I've spoken about it. How to run a legal system with indigenous knowledge, I've spoken about it. Indigenous food, I've spoken about it. Indigenous medicine, there was an entire session where I did materia medica, the substance of indigenous medicine. I've spoken about it. They're there, but don't rush. You know, it's a process. It takes years. It takes years. Even for me, you know, I was a teenager when I started learning about these things. I was a teenager. So don't rush. Be patient with yourself. Please subscribe to Sandile Tukani, the channel. Sandile Tukani. Yeah, that's where I post majority of my stuff. Then you will see Sandile Tukani is connected to other accounts. If you want, you can subscribe to those accounts as well. But for now, I'm focused on Sandile Tukani for now. I need to build it. We've got about 2,600 subscribers for now. I'm building it up to 10,000 subscribers. Once we have 10,000 subscribers, then I'll also push the other accounts as well. I'm going to be doing my best to produce documentaries, travel to certain places with the real history now. Meet the real people of those places. Thank you guys. I see Amzo, you wanna comment, but I really have to go now, ne? I need to go somewhere and it's getting late, so unfortunately I have to stop the live. Thank you all of you guys for joining. Thank you for supporting the work. I really appreciate that. I really hope that the work is having some kind of impact. I really would suggest that you share with children those things that are safe for children to hear. It's going to make our work much easier. If the younger generation is very smart. I love them, but they're also heavily at risk. We are the turning point. We are the point of inflection. We could turn the heat up, or it could be all downhill from here. So thank you so much for the people who support my work, even the people who donate in private. You know, there's guys who send me money from time to time. It really does encourage. As I did say in one of my lives, that I'm currently trying to get like proper camera and mic so that I could do a proper setup. It's a long-term project, so don't expect overnight results. It's a long-term project. In fact, I would call it lifelong, because what has been done in the past 500 years is not going to be undone in one life. Sometimes I see some of you fighting online with your other people, and I'm like, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Okusalayo, we wake up tomorrow, we fight again. We wake up tomorrow, we fight again. We'll get there. So, thank you so much. In Kora, we say, "Ikhaqaw." My heart is full of goodness. That's what it means. Ikhaqaw.
Wow.
Yes, that's what we would say it in Kora. Ikhaqaw kwesiba xona. Ikhaqaw ingasi xona sida khwena. Thank you very much, my people, children of the race. Bantwana bohlanga. Mna ndingusandile isizwe samamfene. Igama umama walifumana ethongweni ngumeli iqiniso. Igama lam lasethongweni. Ndinguhlathi mna ndingusanzanza esanzonza kwathi gqi umntu. Ndinguhlatheli ingothiwa sele livutha lothiwa zimfene kuba imfene kubaninilo. Ndingukhamba ngezandla mna uphala kuhle ngoba le ndlela iyehlela. Ndinguluncu ndingumwandla. Umandi wafike luhlangeni. Ndinguma lilelo zintombi zithi bhuti khawundizeke. Ndinguhlathi khulu. Umfene zimabutho ahlukana xa kutshona ilanga. Ndingulisa. Ndingusiduli ungube emhlophe. Singabantu thina batheuka ngobulembi entabeni abancola ngomhluzi amanzi ekhona abapheka iphemphem neqhakuba ngenqawana. Zalwa ke ngumanzotho ngumanyelenzi ngumaphango ngungqale ngungqange ngqanqasini ngugquqa nguqhamu nguwele. Oyini bafazi bentsikizi lentsholo nayiphazama nithabathi isidoda ngoma lihlatyelwe isifazi. Nguntsiba ukuluka yuthu nguntaba kahili ngusiqa somelezana zintshaba. Komo zikambiko zikamancamu zikamlawu. Phansi ke kobukhosi bamarharhabe. Uzamazama ilizwe lizamazama usibala mdaka usambatha zimfutshane kanti zomlingana. Usingasiyaya mhla singayi singasiyi mhla sisiya. Untsinga kaNomagwayi wasembo. Ndingumzukulwana ke mna ke emampehleni kocabashe konkomo zibomvu. Komo zika yibeka wakulokani udikana ulubisi. Ndicamagushe ke kumakhulu wam umamhlane unhlanga unqabano ungqungqushe. Uziqelekazi uhlamba ngobenda amanzi ekhona. Ndingumzukulwana ke mna kisukuzuku ke kumatshawe ondange katshiwo. Ozigodwa nasemazendela singala endleleni yazini kunyembelekile. Ngabantwana basebukhosini ke abo. Ndibuye besisukuzuku ke mna ke kumagiqwa kodikijwa. Igazi labathu amadoda ndibuye besisukuzuku kumangqosini. Ociwosho othithibo nozinga abantu bomlambo. Bawathi wemnyama kathikoloshe. Eqenqelekise ehlise enyuka phezulu komlambo igqili. Oyini ndiyacamagusha ke koxhamela konokwindla kotyhopho koncancashe. Omalamba yendle malamba edlile. Nina nidlile igusha zabantu nithi ziziduli zamathafa. Ndiyacamagusha ndithi makube xosi kube hele kube camagu. Xa ndicamnca ndicangcatha ke ndisithi oh tsi zakhala izikhalisa rhabe madoda. My people, my shlome, it's war. And it's war on your existence. They are alienating you from your identity. They're alienating you from your land. And you have to fight back. Fight for yourself. You're not fighting now for your political party. You're not fighting for anything. You're fighting for the very existence and essence of your people. Khosi, Kamaku, Kwande, Kukhanye, Kuba Mhlophe. Thank you so much for the gifts and for the support, guys. I really, really, really appreciate it. I'm gone.